was and is, and he was shot. I don't know if he was hit 9 times. I know he was shot at 9 times in that one instance. And Dan,
I don't even know that. I'm surprised you know that much about Curtis.
Well, I'll tell you one of the reasons why. I thought it was ridiculous that Villanova, for their midnight basketball, had him there for the opening music. I mean, come on, you can't be doing. But now he could be the Trump music. So
a party in the club, you know?
Right? But I mean, come on. At that point, Dan, he was notorious. Maybe he's mellowed a bit. Not only that, aren't you putting people at risk when he went to Villanova? You have been shot at 9 times.
No, come on. By that time, he was a big celebrity with security. He's not going to get shot at again.
Okay.
Well,
so here's the side question, and we're doing this on the fly. We had something else all revved up about Walter Cronkite, but what should Trump's walk-up music be? And don't, we're not going to even air the obvious, the Rocky, the Lee Greenwood we already had. My way. You got to go a little outside the box, or take, I don't know about a celebrity, Dan, but any other political figure, I guess. Or do you want to do celebrity?
Let's just go with Donald. I think maybe Donald, because
it
just focus kind of in a genre realm of music. Don Jr., the hyper patriotism, maybe this kind of idea of getting shot at like many men.
If you want to take a shot at, because tonight he gets nominated with J.D. Vance, and tell us his walk-up music, Dan. I don't know. That would be pretty good.
Sure.
If you can come up with something of that. So that's what we're looking for on the side question.
J.D. Vance coming out to Ohio by Crosby.
Yeah, but Ohio, yes. But 50 Cent might be there. That's the thing. Doing it personally. Oh, my God. Okay. So the big breaking story a little while ago, Mike Johnson now, I'd rather see him do it now. I know it's a Republican convention, but we have a lot more on the shooting of President Trump last Saturday and this completely incompetent head of the Secret Service. We played you, if you missed it yesterday, let's play that just to set the stake in the ground. I have 2 cuts, one of Kimberly Cheadle. Here's the first thing from the ABC News interview that she did about why they didn't have snipers there on the roof of the building that was shot from by the 20-year-old. Here's what she said.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
All right. Here is from today, a CNN interview with Cheadle, or at least a spokesperson, claiming that no assets were diverted from Trump's rally.
How, knowing that there was a credible threat against the former president, how could that perimeter be so small that it excluded a building just 150 yards away from the podium?
I can't get into the specifics of any threats, but obviously with all of our protectees, we're constantly monitoring the threats that are out there, and we design our security plans based on that, also depending on the venue and the environment that we're in. And on that particular day, a full advance had been completed, but this is also why we are doing an internal review, and we look forward to the external review as well. And obviously, if there are things that we need to change about our policies or our procedures or our methods, we are certainly going to do so.
Was that perimeter too small?
The perimeter encompassed the area that we needed to secure for the event that we had on that day. What happened is a terrible incident and should never happen, and we are obviously going to make sure that moving forward, we take whatever lessons that come out of this and adjust accordingly.
Was every element, every part of his, from the intelligence to the counter-assault team, to the detail agents, to the shift agents, I mean every element, top to bottom, of the advance in the operation, was every element increased after you learned of this credible threat?
What we increased was what we felt was appropriate for the former president and for that particular event on that day. We have been increasing the assets and the resources and the staffing that we have been providing to the former president since he was a presidential candidate and then the presumptive nominee. That's what I can tell you.
That sounds like a no.
I am not saying a no at all. I'm saying that we have continued to increase the resources that we've been providing to the former president.
I can hardly wait till this woman is under oath. There weren't even non-answers there. And still, that's Saturday. We're turning forward in the week. We don't have answer 1 here. And the more that goes on, the more it stirs up all kinds of other stories. the local police department, I'm looking at a story today that was involved here, responding to the Trump shooting, has no police chief. The police chief retired last month, so Butler Township Police Department did not have, there's no acting chief. Now, there is a lieutenant who's the current head of the department. It just points out, and there was a problem, apparently, it seems coming to light, with the radio connection between the Secret Service and the local police. And she didn't answer there, or she did answer. She did say, Dan, the Cheadle. Well, yeah, 24. We need Jack Bauer, not Cheadle. That, yes, we had it covered for what this event was. Well, no, you didn't if the guy is within 150 yards. Everybody knows you need a bigger perimeter than that. So, again, still outstanding questions. I like what Mike Johnson said, though. So here's the thing. Now, think about this for a moment before you answer. And, Dan, you may be on the other side from me. I think Jim Jordan is involved from what I hear. Mike Johnson setting up the task force, the people he's picking. That way they have subpoena power, and they can bypass all these other committees in Congress. Dan, on a scale of 0 to 100, Mike Johnson, Jim Jordan, what's your faith level that they will get to the bottom of this situation that happened on Saturday? What do you say?
Well, wrong microphone. Jeez.
Yeah.
80%.
Only 80 with Jim Jordan and Mike Johnson?
Yeah.
Reason?
I have trouble trusting full anything at this point. Yeah.
All right. Well, I put it.
I have to see me too often. Though.
I'll put it at 99 based upon that. And I know I'm risking. Don't be a moron on social media. You can call me and say, 99%. Well, I'm leaving. Nothing is 100% certitude. I would agree with that. That they're going to get to the bottom of what happened here. Because why would Johnson and Jordan want to cover anything up here? Both the right thing and the politically right thing to do for Republicans is to get to the bottom of this. Because everything points toward the other side in a negative way. Now, Michael Steele, Dan, who way back when a lot of people on talk radio thought this guy would be a good head of the RNC. He's now on the MSNBC, has done an interview and put stuff up on Twitter. In fact, I responded to him, Dan, because he wanted to know, among other things, he thinks this is a fraud. He thinks this was faked somehow or another. Well, the guy did.
Who's this?
Michael Steele, the former head of the RNC, and he's a host on MSNBC. So I had to tweak him a little bit because he wanted to know if Trump will loose, L-O-O-S-E, part of his ear. And I said, I don't know. Is it loose? He wants to know, is Trump lost part of his ear? And he's saying, will Trump loose on Twitter, L-O-O-S-E?
He actually expounded a little bit if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
You want that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's start with last night in the Band-Aid. That's fine. Where I am at this point is it's been 3 days going on 4 since this horrific event occurred. A person lost their life, 2 have been severely injured, and yet we've not received a medical report from the hospital, nor have we received a medical report from the campaign or from the Trump organization about the extent of the damage to his ear. If he was shot by a high-caliber bullet, there should probably be very little ear there. And so we'd like to know that. Is there cosmetic surgery involved? What is the prognosis for recovery? Were there stitches? What is the extent and nature of the damage to his ear? Was it caused by a bullet as opposed to, as some reports from those on the scene, other reporters, saying that it was actually shards of glass from the teleprompter itself, not the bullet? So there are a lot of questions around that ear, and yet there's been no response to that. Instead, just showing the image of the man coming into the hall with the wounded ear.
And Dan, you're going to put up something like that that's sensitive on Twitter. Maybe you shouldn't say, will he lose part of his ear?
Spell check?
I had to pounce on that. I'm getting a lot on Twitter around that. Oh, yeah. So what's the big deal? Why did people confuse that lose with loose? It's amazing to me.
It's one of the easier ones, I would think, to get.
I don't think so.
You think loose and loose is hard?
No, it's easy.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think like one of the harder ones, but I'm good at it, I got to say, is there, and there.
Yeah, well, that's a harder one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the THEYR, you can slip into that when you're meaning to say that and you put there,
And I write them every day. I still can get capitalization down on headlines, especially for the word the and is.
Okay.
And on.
Okay.
On. Do you capitalize on in headlines? Hell if I know.
I'd say no. No, you don't have to.
No?
Small word. No, I rule on that. No. Let's move forward. All right, so we got a great side question. We have Johnson now with the task force. All right. Again, I get it. Monday, we're going to roll this out. We're going to be talking about it. Republican convention. It ought to be rolled out now. That part I don't understand. The farther away you get from this, what apparently happened here, the bottom line, as best I can tell, is that here's the other thing, too, that their policies are messed up. They saw him with the rangefinder, Dan, walking around, the wind, the wind thing and the rangefinder, and they didn't take it off him, or they thought he was suspicious. What's he have that for? Then they let it go.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's not, you try to get in the Citizens Bank Park. Rose's pocketbook was an inch too big, and we were coming in the VIP thing, and we had to go and get rid of the pocketbook and put it in the car, then come back. So you mean the Secret Service is just going to let this guy walk around? Yeah, so here is, this guy, John Miller, has been very good, former NYPD, and he is the CNN counterterrorism, terrorism expert. Here's what he said, that apparently he was getting reports that the snipers, the Secret Service snipers, were being looked at by the alleged sniper here on President Trump. Here's what Miller said.
We also understand that when he got to the fairgrounds where this rally was being held for Donald Trump, the first thing that puts him on the radar of security people is near the magnetometer area where they're screening people in. He's carrying in his hand a rangefinder. It's a device that looks like a small pair of binoculars, but it's used by shooters to measure the distance when they're setting up a long-distance shot. Because he didn't have a weapon, that would not have prevented him to go through security, but they did flag, what does he have this in his hand for? At that point, they told people, keep an eye on this guy, but then he leaves the secure area, the staging area, and he doesn't turn up again for some time until the crowd says there's a guy crawling up the roof and it appears he has a rifle. There is an eerie moment in here, Aaron, where he's taking the rangefinder and he's looking through it at the counter-sniper positions. And one of the counter-sniper positions is looking at him through the scope. At this point, there's not a gun in the picture, as I understand it, but they're saying he's looking at us, looking at him. Then when people alert the police and they try to come up the ladder to get him, and he confronts them with the AR-15 gun, they dive for cover. And then a moment later, he opens fire.
All right. So this continues. Again, the task force ought to be named today. I think, it's raining on the celebration. No. This is much more important than just a little celebration. And then this gets at who is it that put this woman in there running this? And it gets at the questions of what kinds of operation is this? And you have on Saturday, Trump and J.D. Vance are going to be barnstorming in Michigan. This is ongoing here with this stuff. What are their policies? Why wouldn't they do it? The local police coordination here. You have two of the motorcycle cops from the Pittsburgh area who responded to get Trump to the hospital that have been demoted and transferred. The claim was they shouldn't have been there. They should have been with Dr. Jill Biden, who was in Pittsburgh, not far away. So this is a mess, and it's not a mess that you can look away at. This is a mess that has to be dealt with quickly. All right, it's going to be quite a night prior to this shooting, prior to this week with J.D. Vance. But it'll be a huge night with Don Trump Jr., July 30th. Don't forget, get your tickets, 1210WPHT.com. But remember, too, as part of your ticket, you get your reserved seat and you get the book Letters to Trump. And I've been thumbing through it again, coffee table size book. And in there are letters from some of the most famous people in the world. And I have to tell you, one of the reasons that Trump put this together, it shows page after page how well treated he was before he ran for office and all this started, by the very celebrities attacking him. Like, he said something nice about Oprah. What a team we'd make if I ever ran, Oprah. And Oprah writes him a glowing letter saying, I grew weepy reading this. Do you think Oprah would say anything nice about Donald Trump publicly now? Writes a public open letter that's in there. You'll be fascinated. Hundreds of letters like that. Princess Di, Kim Jong-un, Hillary. I'll tell you about the Hillary letter. That's what you get that night. Fabulous night with Don Trump Jr. Can't be more in the news. Get those tickets now and get that book. Go to 1210WPHT.com. Your calls are coming up on Talk Radio 1210.
Join Team Kale and Company once again this year for the Bend to Shore Bike Tour on Sunday, July 21st. From Philly to Atlantic City, you can do the ride or just donate to support the cause. Visit bendtoshore.org. That's shore.org. Let's show everyone how WPHT and Odyssey supports law enforcement. Bend to Shore is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. FBBCF provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders and supports the Police Youth Alliance, which fosters a positive relationship between police and youth. Sponsored by Gelman Law. Need a criminal defense attorney or personal injury? Visit GelmanLawFirm.com.
Don't count on summer heat to melt away those extra pounds. That doesn't work. But here's something that does work, and that's NJ Diet. For over a decade, NJ Diet has helped thousands of people lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. No shots, no prepackaged meals, and no surgery. NJ Diet is fully supervised every step of the way to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations close by are available from anywhere with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. Lose the weight for good.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and experts in the Fresh Start Initiative.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Inflation fears started in 2021. The warning signs were everywhere. But Senator Bob Casey ignored the warnings and sided with the liberals in Washington, voting for trillions in reckless, wasteful spending. And all that reckless spending made inflation worse, driving up prices on almost everything you buy. Now, Pennsylvania families are paying the price for Senator Casey's reckless spending. Our state's been hit the hardest by higher prices. With Senator Casey's reckless spending, grocery prices are up 25%. Rent, it's up 21%. And electricity's up 29%. Senator Casey helped create this mess. And now, Pennsylvania families are struggling to make ends meet. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act, and fight against inflationary government spending. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. WPHT.
walk-up music, side question today. Either Don Jr., Vance, President Trump, anybody that you'd like. A rumor, 50 Cent doing it maybe live in person on Thursday night. Oh, my goodness. I don't know, Dan. Is this getting over the line? Amber Rose this week. Who else is going to come out here?
There's no doubt in my mind that they've signed or hired at least some producers from WWE broadcasts. Because the walkout that Trump did with the Lee Greenwood music was so reminiscent of Goldberg or some of the other wrestlers coming out from the locker room. And I gotta say, like, wrestling should be looked to for good production values and excitement, and I really like what I've been seeing out of the RNC this year. It's been exciting. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure with Don Trump Jr. tonight, it will also be, and then he introduces J.D. Vance.
It's not that stodgy C-SPAN with the voice that's, announcer out of nowhere, and then a person coming on stage, and you hear the clapping in the background. It's been a lot of... check it out if you haven't.
Little review last night. The governor of West Virginia with the dog. Enough already.
Yeah,
it's sick. Just, you don't like dogs? Oh, come on.
Another chair movement.
Yeah, another chair movement. And Dave McCormick maybe needs better production values there with his moment in the sun last night.
Yeah.
Haley, I know people get nuts, Dan, but Haley was all in for Trump. And I know you don't like her. She shouldn't have been there. Now, grow up. This is the master stroke by Trump because some of those Haley voters, there's about 250,000 of them, give or take, in the swing states. All you want to do is just another calculus to tip it that they actually show up and vote. That's what you're looking. Now, I'm convinced so, Dan. You have people right now who think, nah, I'm not going to do any of that stuff, Dom. We've already won this. Yeah, I think there are people listening who think it's already over. How they go? I mean, look at Biden. Look, we have a lot from yesterday. And look at what Trump has gone through and what he's done. We've already won this. That's how you lose. That is how you lose. All right, then we're going to go into the cheating stuff. No, we're not going to lose this time. I don't want to have that conversation anymore. So you have to act as if this is a tie ball game. The wind's at your back. And now you got to execute even more and drive them further behind. They are behind. I mean, Biden yesterday at the NAACP was as bad as it gets. And apparently there was a Zoom call last Saturday, right before the Trump shooting, with so-called Democrat moderates that were appalled at the state that he was in. So the movement is starting to take him out again, but I think they're going to nominate him. I'm praying they nominate him online so that they don't even need a convention, and they do it that way, and he's more solidly in. Because he's who we want to face, without a doubt. But I could see it that there's a line between confidence and then thinking, well, how could he possibly win here? You don't want to be thinking. All you want to be thinking about is everything you can pile up. And last night, there were effective speakers. The most effective to me, Dan, I don't know how much you could watch last night, was the brother of Miss Morin, who was killed by an illegal alien here, brutally raped and killed. That family, they were very effective. The woman from New York, who's been on a trail since her son was killed with Alvin Bragg, was also very effective. I don't know about the Kensington Beach guy. I mean, it's a little bit Kensington Beach on Instagram, how effective that was. But these were effective talking about what illegal immigration has done. All right, let's go to the callers here. Let's go to Frank in Delco, and Frank is on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Frank.
Hey, good afternoon, Dom. Great show as usual. I just wanted, I love you dearly, Dom, but there's no way you can be 99% sure that somebody's going to end up held accountable, or we're going to get to the bottom of the whole shooting incident. I mean, my faith in what they're doing there is, I mean, who was held accountable for Afghanistan? Who was held accountable, or who's being held accountable?
Wait a minute, though. For Afghanistan, though, what do you mean? Biden was held accountable, and politically, it's hurting him. We can't force Biden to fire somebody, but
here's the bottom line: Kim Cheadle, they pulled her out of retirement. She was formerly on Biden's vice presidential detail. Mm-hmm. Jill Biden loves this woman. So they're going to do everything. They're going to try to look the other way with this one, just like they do with everybody else in the administration that screws up. They're just going to hopefully, like with time, people will forget it. But I just think that at the end of the day, no matter what task force or committees or whatever look into anything, nothing ends up getting done.
Well, wait a minute. I would make the argument, though, this is a political situation. You don't see the political hay to be made here continuing this and what the heck's going on with this and who's behind it and where it leads in a presidential election? Isn't that accountability?
Yeah, I think they'll do that, and they'll do it more for the optics. But I still say at the end of the day, you might see some mid-level Secret Service agents, some grade 14 or 15, be forced to retire before they wanted to. But, to say the Secret Service and the leadership, Kim Cheadle and all, is going to be I don't think it's going to happen.
A pizza bet, if that's your thing, Frank. I bet that
I bet
that Cheadle goes almost without a doubt, because this is going to be so embarrassing politically at this point in time in a presidential election. They're going to have to do something. So pizza bet on that, Frank. Give us, let's say, within a month.
Tom, your lips to God's ears. I hope you're right. But, and one other thing, Michael, what's his name? Michael Stone?
Michael Stone.
Tom?
Yeah.
The former RNC guy, Michael, the guy
Steele,
you just played the clip of.
Michael Steele.
Michael Steele. I love how, after this shooting, we need to turn the rhetoric down. We really need to change our ways. And to say that this thing was staged, I mean, that guy should, I'm sorry, I'm a Christian, but that guy should burn in hell for.
All right, Frank.
Maybe not go that far.
What's the definition of accountability? I would say accountability, getting rid of Kim Cheadle, Dan. Yes, I agree with that. But I am more like it if this political issue plays out for the next couple of months, as far as continuing to bring up the thought that they didn't want to fully protect Trump in the manner that they should, rolling the dice a bit here with resources. All right, the great Colonel Allen B. West has commanded people in battle. This wasn't in battle. This was just at a fairgrounds. What does he think of how this was handled, and politically what happens next? We'll ask him about that. We'll come to you on the side question, too. Be ready. How about a walk-up song, Dan, for Allen B. West? Got anything in mind? He's
sorry, what'd you say?
Walk-up song for Colonel West.
Colonel West?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get it when we're coming back.
Okay.
I play it every time. It's yeah.
Okay, all right. We got one for him. Yeah. That's a little sample, yeah. Oh, the Texas. Okay.
Yeah, come on. You got to play at the Texas, right?
I thought something a little bit more military.
I feel like you might need more energy, right? Or military.
Military, yes. I don't think that quite.
No, it
he's
doesn't
not
play
a rootin' tootin' type of thing. Hey, get ready for a gift from Rescue Natural Supplements.
Cattle Call by Eddie Arnold?
It's their Christmas in July sale. That's right. The season of giving is making a summer comeback with huge savings. That means all health supplements will be slashed up to 50, 60, even 70% off site-wide. Treat yourself with savings in heart-healthy omega-3s, pain-relieving anti-inflammatories, natural immunity boosters, and a lot more. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com. res-q.com. Don't miss Rescue's Christmas in July sale. Shop savings up to 70% off all natural solutions for your highs and lows, from high blood pressure, cholesterol, to low energy or testosterone. Rescue's got you covered. So hurry on over and unwrap the joy of a healthier you at res-q.com and do it today.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock. $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase from Cherry Hill Volvo.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield, or at buckscountyestatетraders.com.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Wait a minute. Can't play that music for Colonel West anymore, Dan. You might have to play an opera here. No motorcycle riding.
I do want an update because I remember last time we asked him, I think his wife was trying to keep him off the bike. Wonder if he's gotten back on.
I think he's fully off. Let's go to Colonel Alan B. West here on the Dom Show. Colonel, we don't forget anything. Sorry about that.
Well, you know, Angela and I, it's funny. We just recently had that talk about, you know, I'm just a year and a half away from Medicare age, and I think that a motorcycle might be appropriate for the old man.
Hey, I like it.
Okay, that's good.
The opposite direction I was expecting.
Opposite direction on this. So, so Colonel, watching this with the, I see it as rank incompetency, but I'm under fire here. People immediately think of conspiracies, which I think are really hard to do. Take us up and down, somebody who's actually commanded under fire in Iraq versus, let's face it, the Secret Service is under pressure, but they're ordinarily not being fired at when they're making decisions. They ought to be able to do this.
Well, I would tell you, listening to your previous segment, if there's going to be a decision made on Mrs. Cheadle's future, I don't think waiting a month is going to help. That's too close to the election. If you're going to do that, it has to be done this week or next week without a doubt. So hopefully people can have forgotten by the time you get close to the election. Look, one of the things that we always talk about in the military is to gain and maintain the high ground, which means that you never allow anyone to have a elevated vantage point over you when you're doing an operation. So if you take that and apply it to what we saw happen there in Pennsylvania and Butler last Saturday, why was there a rooftop that was left uncovered? And what do I mean by uncovered was that either you have someone on that elevated vantage point, which was less than 150 yards, direct line of sight to a former president and a presidential candidate, or you make sure that the counter snipers that you have up there in doing their range card and sector, evaluation, they have that covered with their fire. And that means they know the exact range to it. They've conducted their windage assessments. And if there is someone that gets on that elevated high ground, you immediately make sure or you confirm that this person is not a friendly, then you engage. You don't wait until after they pop off 6 to 7 rounds. And this excuse from the Secret Service Director Cheadle that, the roof was sloped and it was too dangerous for someone to be up on it. It wasn't too dangerous for that 20-year-old.
Yeah, and apparently they were on another roof that looks to be a similar configuration. Now, you've also served in Congress, and I get the tendency, we all have it, to think that, there's no way they get to the bottom of this. I think a task force on this, but I would do it now. And I realize they think the message is celebration. But isn't this as good of a message to Americans that Johnson and the others, even in the middle of the convention, are not letting that distract them? They're acting on something where Trump and Vance are going to be in front of the public on Saturday again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to get to the bottom of this. And, when you think about Mississippi Congressman Benny Thompson, who wanted to have legislation stripping President Trump of his Secret Service protection, this is absolutely absurd. So we need to make sure that going forward, we don't have another lapse in this in security. And I've been reading some of the back channel reports. We've had some incidents happen up there at the RNC convention that aren't making the mainstream reports, such as a kid with an AK-47 pistol that was caught, and he did not have a concealed carry license, such as Congressman Van Doren, I think, of Wisconsin, who was attacked by a Code Pink individual. So we continue to see these acts of violence or potential acts of violence that are happening. So, yes, we need to talk about these processes and procedures to make sure that there's not another lapse. But this, without a doubt, it was incompetence. Now, to try to say that there was an inside job or anything like that, I mean, you've got to get more facts and details. Hopefully we don't go down that rabbit hole. But without a doubt, someone has to be held accountable because you had a former president that was millimeters away from losing his life.
How does that happen, though, on this large of a level? It seems to me, look, and I'm the last one to want to have more government spending. But I think, in addition to their incompetency, they're not like you. They're not somebody who talks about a mission, and it sort of filters down. We saw 5'4" women up there trying to protect the 6'2" man when they're supposed to be human shields. They're stretched thin. They're covering all these former presidents, their kids, the convention, et cetera. And if that's the case, and they need more resources, more people of high caliber to train them, then we ought to be doing it. That's money well spent. That's money you got to spend if that's part of it.
Yeah, and it would be money well spent. And first and foremost, you have to look at the focus of this current Secret Service director who came back and said she wanted to increase more females. And she's more about DEI than really about having the qualified people. And you're correct. If you are 6'2", 6'3", the people that should be guarding you should be 6'4" and 6'5", not 5'4". That's one thing. And if you want to talk about the appropriate spending of resources, we should not be giving illegal immigrants free health care and debit cards and all of these other things. It should be going to the basic core competencies and missions of the federal government, the executive branch, and a branch like the Secret Service. So, yeah, I think that we need to go back and look at what are the right duties and responsibilities. Let's spend less on the Department of Education up there and spend more on the right and proper roles. U.S. Marshals, I mean, that's another, constitutional mandate. I mean, that is a historical government law enforcement agency. Maybe we need to get more U.S. Marshals out there. But the Secret Service is a very old organization. I think U.S. Grant, President Grant was the one that established them. So they should be a preeminent line, not hiring 80,000 new IRS agents.
Yeah, exactly right. The other thing I wanted to talk with you about this, let's turn down the rhetoric and all this. You're someone who's been in the public eye and made comments and you get pushback. Biden said something about a bullseye on Trump. I don't see that as inflammatory and out of line. The out of line thing that causes this is saying that Trump is different than other candidates. He's Hitler or about ready to be Hitler. Then there's only one solution that some crazies could think. Other than that, I wouldn't be going after people on the language if they say, that might backfire. It's a perfectly acceptable word.
Yeah, but see, the thing is the hypocrisy of the left. You go back and remember when Sarah Palin said that we're going to target certain congressional district, and everybody on the left went crazy, so they have to live by their own rules. But when you start to demonize a person and continue to talk about they're a threat to democracy, a threat to the existential existence of the United States of America, or just listen to Van Jones, who immediately referred to J.D. Vance as a dangerous virus. the evening that he was nominated as vice president, or he's an authoritarian. So the left has to try to tone this down. And let's never forget the 2017 shooting of the congressional baseball team by a deranged Bernie Sanders supporter. Right. And Steve Scalise is a survivor of that. So I think that Joe Biden needs to understand that he has a responsibility. But truthfully, Dom, I don't think the left can correct themselves. I think that this is the only thing they have. They can't talk about the issues. And I just listened to the Twitter post that Kamala Harris said that J.D. Vance is going to further the extreme views of Donald Trump. So they can't help themselves.
Yeah, well, we have Michael Steele, who back in the day I thought was going to be a pretty good head of the RNC, saying he wants to see Trump's ear. He's got to see it up close. Did he lose his ear? Was it just glass? Was it all made up? He wants to see the ear.
That's incredible. Yeah, because what glass could there be? I mean, you can look at the video and you see that no bullet hit the teleprompter. I mean, the bullet grazed President Trump and he went down. So
by the way, in a situation with that, now somebody who's actually been in combat, et cetera, that is incredibly close. It's just remarkably close.
Yeah, you cannot imagine. I mean, if you put one finger on your ear and put another finger on your temple, that's how close it was. Wow. And for people to understand that, in the military, we train our recruits to be able to shoot out to 300 yards. So this is not an overly hard shot to make. And, of course, those of us that are rifle enthusiasts, most of us can make a 130-yard shot with hard sights, not with a scope, not with a red dot. So this was the hand of God, not just upon Donald Trump, but upon this nation, because we could be having a very different conversation, and this could be a very different RNC convention.
So the average recruit is trained to shoot out 300 yards, not even snipers or marksmen.
Correct. That's your basic training. Yeah. So this is not something that we should brush off lightly, which comes back to the fact that how could you allow someone to get within that range and the direct line of sight to a former president?
But any update, when we have you on, we always have to ask the latest because you're right. We're going to tell people where to go to find you, research, et cetera. DEI and the military, has it gotten any better? Is it about the same?
No, it has not gotten any better. And, for whatever reason, we're not talking about the recruitment and the retention problems of our military, which is a national security threat. And they're due to the fact that the Biden administration has not focused on recruiting and training and equipping and deploying and fighting and winning and taking care of our families and the military. So we need a new commander-in-chief because right now, the courage that you saw of President Trump to have been struck by a bullet but still standing strong and asking to get his shoes back on, that's the type of leadership we need to show Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, Iran, and everyone. And that's the type of leadership that will inspire the next generation of great young men and women to join our military.
He was playing golf the next day, too. So where do we find all things Colonel Allen B. West?
Well, you find me on all the social media platforms, but I'm not on that tiki-taki, Chinese Communist Party thing. And, of course, please visit us here. I came into the position of the chairman of the Dallas County Republican Party, and Dallas is one of the three counties, Dallas County here in Texas, that George Soros is targeting. So we've got a big fight here in Dallas County.
Absolutely. Colonel, thank you as always. Always makes me feel better knowing you're out there. Thank you.
You got it. Take care, Dom.
Colonel Allen B. West here on Talk Radio 1210. That's a lot. That's the type of person you want in charge, not Cheeto. I still say to Frank Adelko, get that pizza ready, though. Margarita, I'm not sure. Maybe. No pineapples, of course. But
you see how I put his location as Pizza Bet now?
Yeah. That's
we'll know every time he calls
right.
in.
Yeah, Pizza Frank. She's going to go down within a month. They have to politically. And you heard Colonel West, politically, but do it now. Do the task force now. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. Come into your calls and hit us. What should be good walk-up music for Don Trump Jr., Trump? I'm J.D. Vance. Don't tell me you're going to go Beverly Hillbillies or something. They're not going to play that, are they? I don't know if he has any walk-up music. Is that J.D. Vance?
Now, this is another one for Trump, but only when he's behind the scenes walking through the locker rooms and the hallways with his, strut, because it comes directly from Goldberg, I feel like. Well, no, it doesn't. It comes from boxing, the world of boxing and MMA, but I'm going to say it was Goldberg.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dr. Bentz. I've told you now, it's got to be coming up close to 10 years about my friend, prosthodontist and board-certified extraordinaire in dentistry, Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Medical Group, Dental Group. He is known, of course, for the type of care that you get that just makes it so comfortable, so precise, and so much where the patient buys into it, comes up with how we're going to meet this together. But also, if you have fear and anxiety, I tell the story all the time. The woman from Ocean City was a great listener, took my advice talking about Dr. Bentz, hadn't been to a dentist in 8 years, now is a regular patient. Then there's that 3D printer. Oh, the infrastructure that he has. What it does to get your teeth quickly, efficiently, and precisely done. That is the Bentz Dental Group. You find them at bentzdentalgroup.com or call them for that appointment today at 610-272-6949. Bentz Dental Group. 610-272-6949.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Severe storms knocked down trees and power lines last night, and we're expecting more bad weather tonight. Donald Trump's VP J.D. Vance will be the headline speaker at today's Republican National Convention. And watch out for scammers posing as the Pennsylvania Turnpike texting you that you owe unpaid tolls.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Now that it's sizzling out, is your AC fizzling out? Beat the heat with Horizon Services. Upgrade that old unit for 0 down and 0% interest and get up to a 12-year warranty on a new HVAC system. Plus, save up to $3,500 in free upgrades and rebates when you schedule your free estimate. Same-day service, expert technicians, and a job done right the first time. Need service today? Visit horizonservices.com and Horizon is on the way.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. With zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, time to your Giordano show. Today's side question: could tomorrow night we see 50 Cent in person performing the walk-up song for President Trump? Oh, my God. after the UFC guy does a nominating speech. Now that smacks of policy, Dan, and high diplomacy, right? Well, maybe not. And tonight, with Don Jr. doing the opening for J.D. Vance, apparently is going to talk about his background and the American dream, and that's where he ought to dwell. The other side hates that. Immediately, they're going to say he's attacking people who are mired in poverty. I don't think that's what he's about at all. All right, let's go to the Earl of Tacony early today. Hey, Earl. Good afternoon.
Hey, Dom. Yeah, I want to call in early because I'm locked out of Twitter, so I can't check and see what the side question is.
Okay.
Apparently, I keep forgetting his name every time I go to bring it up. Matt Walsh is saying that Amber Rose was a bad choice to have speaking and everything, and we don't need people like that in the Republican Party. And I made a comment that we need to include everybody if we're going to win. If not, we're committing political suicide. Well, you can't say suicide on Twitter, apparently, because they locked me out for it.
Well, listen, about Amber Rose, too. I mean, there's a lot of baggage there. You know that. Maybe the average listener doesn't, Earl. But to your point, if she's talking about a pivot and going toward Trump, she is a major influencer. How short-sighted could you be to say no to that? Or these people bothering me about, why are you talking about Nikki Haley? Because maybe Nikki Haley last night persuaded 25,000 voters across the swing states, and maybe that's enough to put us over the top. That's why.
But, I mean, he was just absolutely apoplectic. I mean, kept going on and on and on about how she's a bad choice. She shouldn't be there. And it's not that she's a bad person. But I said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If she can bring in votes, I'm not asking you to marry her. Ignore her if you have to. But, she's going to help us win. Having conservative values does absolutely no good if you can't get into power and institute them.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the life issue. They're going after Vance on that now. Dan and I have been talking about it. He has been pretty harsh on some of that. We'll see how he plays with it. I know there's a lot more to Vance, a lot. But you got to take into account things like this. It's the only thing they can pounce on. They don't have much else to talk about.
I mean, the Republicans are self-destructive. I mean, we keep setting up these rules that help us destroy ourselves. It's like, I'm not asking you to marry Amber Rose. Just, have her help us, win the election. Scott Pressler is gay. What, we're supposed to tell him to stop recruiting and registering Republicans to vote because of his lifestyle? Because some, conservative religious types don't like homosexuality? We're not saying, homosexuality is good or bad in any way. Just allow a person who has that lifestyle to work for us, to actually help us win so we can institute some better policies for America.
Exactly. What's your walk-up music?
I have a disco tune. It's about 7 minutes long, so it gives plenty of time to dance and walk up to the stage. It's a song by CJ & Co. It's called The Devil's Gun, and even the lyrics are appropriate. It goes, fee, fi, fo, fum, we're looking down the barrel of the devil's gun.
Oh,
nowhere to run. We got to make a stand against the devil's gun. Better make a move now. There ain't no time to lose now. His finger's on the trigger. He's waiting to deliver. Can we figure out a way to make the people shout? I mean...
Keep going, Earl.
Get the leisure suit out.
You want it? Got a new direction. Well, another resurrection. Don't wait, hesitate. If it's going to be too late. Flames are getting higher. Got to jump into the fire.
All right, thank you, Earl. Yesterday, the roof material by Earl. Today, the Devil's Gun. All right, could it be 50 Cent out there tomorrow night performing in person for Trump? Is this America? What the heck has happened? What will Van Jones say? All right, coming up, we'll take you to the convention with our buddy Charlie Giroux in the Pennsylvania delegation, and your calls next on Talk Radio 1210.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
Gotta be fresh.
Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
Find out what healthcare practitioners already know. Topperson can help your feet feel better. Our patented foot pain relief cream offers soothing, moisturizing relief that can help with everything from neuropathy to normal wear and tear. With 14 proprietary ingredients, Topperson Foot is the miracle foot relief you need to try. Guaranteed Topperson Foot is available at CVS Pharmacy, Walgreens, and at Amazon, Walmart, and Topperson.com. Turn back the clock on your aching feet. Topperson, rub it in. Use only as directed.
Inflation, recession, interest rates, the Fed. How do you make sense of it all? Join Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at Archbishop Wood High School in Warminster, PA, Saturday, September 28th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
July savings are going on now at Hessert Chevrolet with savings on Silverados and Blazer EVs. Drive home a 2024 Blazer EV with 1.9 APR for 36 months, up to $3,500 off MSRP, or a new Silverado 1500 for $389 per month for 36 months with $4,500 off MSRP. July savings are here at Hessert Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Visit HessertChevrolet.com today. Call 267-343-9094 for details.
Your way or no way at Hessert Chevrolet.
It's hot out there, and your inefficient windows mean high utility bills all year long. Window Nation sells some of the most energy-efficient windows you can buy and was recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 free, plus 0 down, and no interest or payments for 2 years. Stop paying more than you have to. Schedule an in-home estimate right now at 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. You got the side question. Walk-up music for Trump, Don Jr., J.D. Vance, or if you have some other wild card, we'd like to hear it. Get your name into the hat today. You could be a winner. All right, you heard Colonel West, his thoughts on what happened last Saturday and where this head next, and all the particulars there that just are beyond rank incompetency. Charlie Giroux is an old friend. We talked with him before the convention. He's at the convention. There's this walk-up music. The all-wise, the all-knowing Charlie Giroux of Quantum Communications joins us from Milwaukee on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Charlie, welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Dom, thank you so much. And my mom, again, thanks you for that wonderful introduction. The all-wise, all-knowing, and with the background music, she's in seventh heaven.
Oh, there you go. So is it making its way around the convention? Have you heard this, that it's a pretty good rumor that 50 Cent will perform live one of his hits that fits President Trump for the walk-up music when he comes to accept the nomination on Thursday?
I haven't heard that, but that would be awesome. I mean, that would be the perfect entry. And, you know, each night that he walks in,
they need to put extra rivets in the roof, Dom, because it's going to blow off otherwise. I mean, there are two words that are defining this convention. One is unity, and the other is enthusiasm. The enthusiasm gap between the Republicans and the Democrats right now is about as wide as the Grand Canyon, maybe a little bigger.
Yeah, and Biden keeps on making it deeper. Adam Schiff just put out a statement calling for his exit, which he's hinted at, but now it's more direct. Charlie, we have been talking this morning, too, about this task force. I know at the convention they don't want a distraction, but Mike Johnson's going to have a task force with subpoena power on what happened with the Secret Service.
Well, they need to put that together quickly, and he said that they will, and they need to get to the bottom of this. They can't let this be like the Kennedy assassination where, documents are still sealed 60 years later. The American people have a right to know what happened, and we have a right to know what corrective actions are going to be taken because obviously there were some serious screw-ups.
Are you surprised that the police in that area, Charlie, you've been involved, you ran for governor, you've been involved in a lot of things. I've seen a lot of this, and usually I don't remember the Secret Service handing off something this close to a president with a direct shot. Usually the perimeter stuff for law enforcement is to be like a support group, traffic, stuff like that. It's pretty rare that they would actually be kind of the front lines on coordinating this.
I've done an awful lot of advanced work through my years, as you know, Dom, and I don't like to second-guess what happened, but I would say that in my experience, you are correct. That would be unusual.
Yeah. So going forward now, take us inside your thoughts on J.D. Vance and what people are saying. Democrats going after abortion today. His policies are out of step with Trump on that, or at least have been. But they haven't mounted a ferocious attack on J.D. Vance yet in any way that I see.
Well, yet being the operative word, believe me, it's coming and it's going to come quickly. And I think the two things you'll hear about are, one, comments that he made about Donald Trump years and years ago, and two, you're going to hear about abortion because that's the only card the Democrats have to play at this point. And for those Americans that think that more abortions are somehow going to make the country better, they're going to vote for Joe Biden or whoever the Democrat nominee happens to be. But for the vast majority of Americans, what's happened with inflation, what's happened with immigration at our borders, and what's happening internationally is much more important to them. And those are the issues on which Donald Trump's going to get reelected.
How do you see the McCormick-Casey race at this point? Is Joe Biden that big of a drag on Casey? We see one poll indicating McCormick is neck and neck with Casey.
Well, as you know, Dom, I've been very, very bullish on Dave McCormick from the get-go. I think he is a fabulous candidate, and I hope that all of your listeners will help their friends and neighbors really get to know Dave McCormick because Dave McCormick has a great life story and is a really brilliant man who will be a great U.S. Senator for Pennsylvania and actually get things done. I mean, Bob Casey's a nice man, but he doesn't get things done. And I believe that the race is not only neck and neck, but I think it's the trend lines anyway are clearly in McCormick's favor. And he certainly did himself a service last night with his remarks at the convention. He did a great job. And having J.D. Vance on the ticket, I think, helps.
How does he play out in Pennsylvania, J.D. Vance? Is it Western Pennsylvania, hillbilly elegy? Is that where they send him?
Yes. And, I mean, President Trump has said he's going to, park J.D. Vance in Pennsylvania for the rest of the campaign. I think that's a brilliant strategy because his story sells exceptionally well anywhere west of the Susquehanna. He may not be that, popular in terms of the Philadelphia suburbs, but west of the Susquehanna, his story is going to be, what every person connects to. And there is a border bleed from Ohio into Pennsylvania. So he is, known in some ways in Western Pennsylvania. But I think that once he's out on the campaign trail, really hitting it with folks face to face, he's going to turn out to be a superstar for this ticket and will help to carry Pennsylvania for Donald Trump.
We're talking to Charlie Giroux. Charlie, is it true you set a record now with attending conventions?
Well, a record for Pennsylvania, without a doubt. There are a couple of delegates from around the country who have been to more conventions than me. but they may have a little bit more gray hair than I. This is my 13th convention, Dom.
Wow.
I started with Ronald Reagan in 1976 in Kansas City and have attended each one since, with a little asterisk for 4 years ago, since there really wasn't a convention, but I was an elected delegate 4 years ago, so I count it.
Wow. Well, that was Reagan, sort of, a 76, but that was Gerald Ford, too, right?
Jerry Ford was nominated. And
yeah.
You know, Dom, that was the last contested Republican convention. So, you know, I came in at a priceless moment in party history and American history. I mean, the level of intensity at that convention will never be matched. Every single conversation, Dom, was cajoling and arm twisting and, you know, trying to get delegates to move.
Well, let me
to
ask you, have
stay.
you ever switched? Did you go there for one candidate and then you switched?
No.
Okay. Well,
I'm a loyal guy, Dominic. If nothing else, I'm a loyal guy.
The one I read the most about, as far as all that, was the '68 convention. That's Richard Nixon worried, and Reagan coming in, and Rockefeller, and all that. That's back when there was actually intrigue, and you actually could do something. So, out of all those conventions, what's the biggest moment you witnessed?
Well, the biggest moment for me personally was when Ronald Reagan was nominated in Detroit in 1980, because I'd worked so hard. I was, you know, still young and fully, you know what, and, you know, it was my life in terms of politics. And, you know, I figured that, you know, there was never going to be anything better. There have been some better moments since then, but of the crowning joy, that was it. Ronald Reagan's nomination in 1980.
Where do we find all things Charlie Giroux, the piece you put out every day? Today, talking about rent that I wanted to ask you about here. Biden has driven up rents, and now he's going to try to, by law, cap what landlords can jump the rent at the federal level.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to find housing vacant because the people that own it are going to say the difference between putting it on the market for rent and putting up with all of Joe Biden's nonsense just simply isn't worth it. These, you know, big government, quote-unquote, solutions always turn out, as Ronald Reagan used to say, to be the problem because, you know, you destroy the incentive for people to do things, and guess what? They're not going to do it anymore. But to answer your question, which I know everyone is waiting for with bated breath, it is Charlie Giroux, Gerow, Gerow.com, charliegiroux.com. And you can find the daily briefing there and the best 60 seconds of your week.
Yeah, that's the bonus. 60 seconds packing it in. Hey, Charlie, enjoy this convention. Thank you, and hopefully we'll catch up with you after this simmers down a little bit.
Thank you, Dom. It's always great to be with you, and I hope that all of your listeners have a great afternoon.
All right, there's Charlie Giroux from the convention here on Talk Radio 1210. Now, tonight, Don Trump Jr. nominates J.D. Vance that we were talking about. And, yeah, it's more of a Western Pennsylvania play. I think he'll be here where we are, Vance. But his story reverberates even more there. But Don Trump will be with us after this master work. Just think about it. It could have been Doug Burgum. Oh, my goodness. Versus J.D. Vance. And it's Don Trump Jr., who apparently, by all accounts, steered it through. He'll be with us July 30th, right here at the Scottish Rite, right over in Collingswood. Beautiful facility. And again, for the price of your ticket, you get reserved seats, but you also get the book, Letters to Trump. As I mentioned early on, this coffee table-sized book. There are hundreds of letters in there from the most famous people in the world. And the bottom line, one of the reasons Trump put this together, it shows how they acted privately and publicly toward Trump. They were friends. I told you the Oprah story. There's a beautiful letter from Hillary Clinton in here to Trump, going back and forth about all the stuff they shared prior to him running for office. Then suddenly he's Hitler. It makes a devastating point. You know? And it's beautifully put together. You'll love having it in your house. And it's part of what you get that night, particularly, though, going inside with Don Trump Jr. Other than having Trump there, this is taking you inside what's happening and who knows between now and then other developments. So get your ticket now. There's also an option to meet and greet, meaning behind the scenes. Dan will be there. Nick Cale is going to introduce us this time, Dan, but I think we're going to need multiple introducing for this one, a multiple walk-up thing. This is bigger than Nick Foles. As big as Nick Foles was at that point and all that.
I'm going to clap from anxiety on stage. I think it might be Nick out there.
This is bigger than Nick Foles simply because, I was even unaware that he was going to call the tune on the VP choice. Apparently, I saw yesterday, he wants to have Don Trump Jr. veto power over who gets into the cabinet. When they start after the win and all that, he doesn't like, and he's right. So, do you remember some of the people Trump picked? Remember the guy from Mobil Oil was the Secretary of State? Really? No. So if Trump knows that. There were some bad picks that first time around. So
those that are going, what can they expect to hear from you and content of the interview, you and Trump Jr.?
Yeah, well, what I'll do first is my plan is to go whatever's in the news 2 or 3 days from that point, of like where we are, what development, have him take it inside, and then go off that a little bit of where he projects things to be. But then we'll backtrack, and we'll go into the whole thing of President Trump being shot. Where was he? He was fishing in Florida. He said he didn't know if he was alive for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And we'll go through his own life story and things related to that. But
I really want to hear. I'm very interested to hear, how did his relationship with J.D. Vance develop? Where'd that start?
Exactly.
Where'd they meet?
Exactly.
Where'd it flourish? Yeah.
Yes, that is an interesting how that came about, who made the first move. So we have plenty of time.
How much influence did he have in his father picking him?
And as I said, there is an option for the backstage part of it, which is always a lot of fun. You get to meet Dan there, too. And God knows, I think Roe will be there. I do want the Maisie report. I would give it. Hey, Maisie, what do you think of this guy?
I'm going to underline the fact that Roe's going to be there because it feels like at Mulligan's, people just wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Like we bring these special guests out all the time. It's like, I don't want to meet X. I want to meet Roe. Come on.
Exactly.
She's a celebrity.
Tickets, you have to go right now. Go to 1210WPHT.com. This is a fabulous site. And again, a lot of regulars, a lot of people that you hear all the time are going to be there. It is the big event of the year, given the shooting, given the timeliness, and given Don Trump Jr.'s stature that you're going to see play out tonight.
I literally just saw 2 tickets come off the board. People are buying them as we speak. They are flying off the shelves. Get them now. Get them now.
Go to 1210WPHT.com, and I hope you take the meet and greet option. It's going to be fun backstage. I don't know what libations, et cetera, will be there, but I hear it's going to be good. 1210WPHT.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not. There's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock. $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase from Cherry Hill Volvo.
Hi everyone, Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12-month same as cash financing though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Selects Premium Package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home. All done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to jabraenhance.com/try. That's JABRA enhance.com/try. jabraenhance.com/try.
It's Dom time. Dom Giordano. Weekdays, noon till 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Welcome in, everyone. Dom Giordano Show. So, Gavin Newsom, will the insurance guy, was it State Farm, I think? There's been a couple of big entities that have said, that's it, we're pulling out of the state. Yesterday, Gavin Newsom signed a new law that would say, under penalties, educators are not allowed to tell parents if their children ask them to use a different name or pronoun. Under law. Not just school district, there's a new law. Now, they say this would be outing them. Just think of it. This is such a tale of these lunatics. The parent has to provide the ultimate in safety and health responsibility, and rightfully so, for their child. Okay. Newsom and these maniacs, though, are signing off. This is just more fodder. It would force educators to not prohibit them from telling parents if their child's asked to use a different name or pronoun, something that every parent ought to know about. And in fact, under this, it appears to me that what would happen here is they'd have to cover it up, Dan, pretty much. In other words, what if they slip up, whatever? Not that I think that educators, by and large, are going to call the parent, you know that little Danny wants to be called Danielle? I don't think that was going to happen, per se. But if the parent asks them a question about stuff, or what's on the test, do they have to white it out? No one seems to know. Here goes, this is the first in the nation, though, to make it a penalty, prohibit it.
You know, I'd be pissed off, though, if I found out that my kid's acting as an opposite gender and the teacher's not telling me, because Like the teacher doesn't know whether or not I'm going to be supportive of this. Right. I would be supportive of it. It's not like I'm not going to encourage it by any means, but I'm not going to try to be dangerous or anything like this. And the fact that the teacher's hiding it from me, that would really miff me. I'm not even asking. I would hope that the teacher would come out and tell me right away, because it's something I would like to talk about my child with directly and handle as a parent firsthand.
It's up to you. Not only that, I don't want as a teacher be complicit in this lying. You're lying to them.
Yeah, you're hiding it. You're covering it up.
What name are they putting on test and all? Do they conspire with the kid to say, put Danielle on the test? Oh, no. The test is going to go home. Put Dan on there. Is that how it works? Well, the Attorney General, Mr.
And don't they recognize the wedge that drives between a child and their parent, even if the parent may be supportive?
Right. Mr. Bonta, the Attorney General, described what you and I were talking about as forced outing approaches that would harm transgendered students whose parents reject their identities. To your point, it goes back to the whole thing saying that every parent's to be suspect. They're going to harm their child. We already have laws about that. That we don't need to do anything else other than to enforce them. Now, I remember Central Bucks, the way that they deal with it is, I think they do the guidance counselor or administration talks to the parents, depending upon circumstances, rather than the teacher. But you don't want to put the teacher in the middle of conspiring against parents. It's not just that they're not telling them, they have to cover it up in some way, shape, or form. Let them continue to do this stuff. I mean, it is just, there's a middle ground here. No one is saying, if there's a history with the parent of something, then there's laws on that already, or people would be aware of that. That's why I don't think, Dan, it's necessary that here's how my policy. I wouldn't have the teacher feel that they had to call the parents themselves, okay? I think the proper thing is the teacher refers it to the next person in the administrative there and says, here's the problem I'm confronted with. And then they have a policy, but they have a way of approaching the parent. Invite the parent in, tell them what you found, and say, this is what's going on.
And first off, is there any of the teacher talking to the child and saying, hey, look, maybe you should talk to your parents about this?
I would say the teacher should have the ability to say that, yes.
To the kid, right?
Yeah, to the kid.
Yeah.
I think they should have the ability to be able to because...
Maybe the teacher not reveal, but at least the teacher encourage the child to loop in their parent on this rather than try to hide it from them?
Exactly. I wouldn't go too far with it. You don't want to have the teacher all the time saying that, but I think to your point.
Well, I think that's step one. And then if you get the pushback or if there's some kind of negativity or coming from the household, I think that's when you have that further discussion. But the first step should be, let's at least get the parents' opinion on this.
Right. And I more like Central Bucks does this, Dan. They report it to the administration, they meet with the counselor, and then they decide how to approach the parent based upon everything they know, but they inform them. All we're asking for here is parental rights. Now, Dan, if they have a situation where they think the parent could be very harmful to the child, well, they already have a duty to report this stuff. Why are they feeling that? Now, all parents are suspect unto this. That's the other thing that's so dangerous with this. Now, this is the transgenders' outfits getting into this, getting in between parents and kids. And let's face it, bottom line, I don't care what they say. This is a phase. This is a trend. It's trendy, particularly with little girls doing this type of stuff. We're seeing it more and more in some of these suburban school districts. Bill Maher, Dan, of all people, classic liberal, not a progressive, says, and he said it to me on the show. Have you ever noticed, Dom, how come I go to a dinner party in Beverly Hills, 30% of the people there have kids that are transgender? When I'm on the road and out there in Dubuque or something, I don't have anybody who is. Why is that? Because certain areas are breeding this kind of thing. Wow. To sign a law, though, and it's ridiculous. Lorraine in Camden County. She's next with Dom on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Lorraine, welcome in.
Hi, Dom. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to tell you that I feel that Amber Rose should be loved and embraced by the Republican Party, not because of what she can do for us, as another caller put it, but simply because she is a woman who viewed things one way, and out of the respect for her father, who encouraged her to do her own independent research on Donald Trump, did. And if you saw or heard her on Monday night, you know that she realized that what she had previously believed by the left was simply untrue, and she began to support Donald Trump. I've never heard of her before the night of the convention, Don. But after hearing her speak, I realized that we have more in common than I could ever imagine. So why wouldn't we embrace anyone who does their own independent thinking?
Well,
and comes to the Republican Party.
Was it Dan? Dan, did you say it? Who
No,
said
so
it? Who said it about Matt
It was
Walsh?
Earl.
Yeah, Earl said it. And this Matt Walsh guy is one of these maniacs, Lorraine, who makes his living off films that are scare tactics. The world is ending. So, of course, look, I would say this. It's both the right thing to do, to your point, but it's also politically beneficial. Sometimes in the universe, things line up where it's the right thing to do and the politically right thing to do at the same time, and they're both in play here.
Can I just clarify, too, for Earl's sake, that the way it came off, even in my ears, if you don't know the context of Amber, it might be, oh, you know, she's black or she's a woman, and that's a black woman. The reason why conservatives are talking out against Amber is not because she's black, not because she's a woman. It's because at one point she had an OnlyFans page. She's, been in the world of sex. She's spoken differing from, traditional conservative opinions on the topic of abortion. So there's that a lot of conservatives are having trouble embracing. I am in the camp that I think we should fully embrace her, but it's more than just race or gender on this one.
Yeah, exactly. But Lorraine, to your point, it's valid also. If she's redeemed in a sense, you're seeing it in a different way. Of course, we welcome that until proven otherwise. Sure.
Yes, and I didn't know about anything else, but I just heard her speak on Monday night. I respected that she loved her father and that she respected him, and I want to just accept people and see the good in them.
Well, Lorraine, you're just like Roe, and I'm in agreement with you. It helps level us out. By the way, going for Amber Rose, too, she was born and raised at Broad and Ellsworth, so she's South Philly. That's it, right there.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing, Don, and thank you for letting me say what I wanted to say.
I'm glad you did. Thank you. Look, sometimes, the politics of this line up and the morality of it lined up to give it a shot. Okay? And we'll see where it goes. I mean, as Dan and I both said, 50 Cent was kind of notorious. I think he's done other things in his life since the early days. I was against him going to Villanova's midnight basketball, Dan, and that's like 15 years, 20 years ago. Thought he was a notorious figure. I didn't see that.
I mean, I think this party has strongly become the party of redemption because I hate to address the elephant in the room, but I mean, look at President Trump. There's some questionable actions in his history that, we do look past because it looks like he's redeemed himself, and I think we should give that opportunity of 50 and Amber Rose as well.
All right, coming up to that point, one of the guys, Selena Zito, was one that Trump talked with after he was shot. He was on the plane. Michael Goodwin, who's one of the lead columnists for the New York Post. I'll give you a little bit of what he says today. He says that the Republican Party should no longer be called the Republican Party. It should be called the Workers' Party, not in the sense of socialism. But Sean Parnell, Captain Sean Parnell, is next, leading the charge in Pennsylvania. He was there he was in the front line. He's a combat veteran extraordinaire and was there when Trump was shot. He's coming to us from the convention. He's next on Talk Radio 1210.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Philadelphia? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Philadelphia for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text INVEST to 64,000. Philadelphia is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Philadelphia and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text INVEST to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text INVEST to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text INVEST to 64,000.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better.
You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge.
Oh, you people are wonderful.
Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to jabraenhance.com/try. That's JABRA enhance.com/try. jabraenhance.com/try.
According to a study conducted by Atticus Law Firm, 40% of retirees were forced back into the workforce because they received a deceptive sales pitch from their broker. But there is one way to ensure that you don't become part of that statistic.
Tony Gambone and Denise Gambone, Royersford, Pennsylvania.
I know people that had to go back to work because they got bad investment advice from brokers. By recording our sessions, Crash Proof Retirement proves they're willing to put their money where their mouth is.
The recordings used by Crash Proof Retirement, it's just a natural extension of how Crash Proof is legally bound to do right for the consumer.
Guarantee legally binding transparency for your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event at Downingtown Country Club on Tuesday, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Now, your Live Nation lineup.
Don't miss these upcoming shows.
Check out Ellen's Last Stand-Up on July 31st at the Academy of Music. Plus, see James Taylor and his All-Star Band at The Man August 30th. Then see Ringo Starr and his All-Star Band at The Man September 24th. Plus, check out Mike Birbiglia on October 11th at the Academy of Music. Don't forget Ellen, James Taylor, Ringo Starr, and Mike Birbiglia. For tickets and info, go to livenation.com.
Why are you paying for an AC system that's struggling to keep you cool? If you hear something funny, smell something burny, your AC is frozen or leaking water, or even feel warm air coming from your AC, it's time to call CNC. CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Lennox dealers, can make it a no-sweat summer for your entire household with one phone call. 0% financing options available. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit cc-hvac.com to request your estimate today.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Get ready for huge politics and pints as Talk Radio 1210 welcomes Donald Trump Jr. It's Tuesday, July 30th at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Join Dom Giordano and Donald Trump Jr. as they talk the election, recent events, and all things Trump. Your ticket includes a copy of Letters to Trump by former President Trump. A cash bar will be available. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com. Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Welcome. Captain Sean Parnell, of course, we've talked with many times over the years, was with President Trump there in Butler and is one of the leaders in the mail-in campaign, getting rolling with that, Dan. And we haven't mentioned that at this convention, and I didn't want to neglect that. I realize the shooting, all the other the VP choice. But can I know President Trump did something. Well, let's go to Sean Parnell, Captain Parnell on Talk Radio 1210. Sean, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, it just dawned on me, and it's hard not to, and we'll talk about what you saw on Saturday and where the campaign is, but I'd like to hear a little more at the convention. Mail-in balloting is what patriots do, something like that, wouldn't you?
You want to talk about mail-in ballots? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, well, I do want to continue to do that. I'm going to keep the pedal to the metal here before we get to the big event on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the mail-in ballot stuff is going really, really well. I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. I haven't seen the numbers yet this week, but there is a chance, Dom, that we will have 600,000 vote-by-mail voters in this cycle. 600,000.
Wow. And what was it in 2020?
That's a threefold increase.
3 times.
Threefold increase.
Right.
And so let me just tell you, like, Pennsylvania is always going to be close. We're always going to campaign like we're 10 points down. We will never, ever take our foot off the gas. But to me, this campaign and what we're doing is outcome determinative, not just for President Trump, not just for Dave McCormick, but Republicans at every single level. And frankly, that's exactly what we need, because this state and this country is in dire straits right now, and we need a drastic change in leadership at every level.
Well, look, you are doing the grunt work here, not as glamorous as what we're going to talk about here, that iconic picture of Trump, and you were right there. But that is great news, and you probably know, but our buddy Scott Presler really has a focus on Bucks County, and on Monday, I believe Bucks County is going to be red by registration. We're 112 down now, but we're making progress of about 150, 170 a week. And we are going to go to town with that because it inspires people. But I'm inspired by hearing what you're saying. I know how difficult this is. Now, you are a combat veteran. You have been around stuff like that. What were you thinking when the initial shots went off there on Saturday?
Well, yeah, it was right there. I mean, they were the bullets cracked right over my head. I could hear them crack over my head and go supersonic, and then heard the muzzle, like the actual gunfire itself. And so instantly I knew it was sniper fire. And all I remember was hearing about 6 shots. And then I remember I've watched this whole thing. It's just like I've been recapping it in my mind for, since that day. But I watched Trump grab his ear. A second later, the Secret Service was on him. And then I heard, a thump of a higher caliber rifle of the counter sniper teams engaging the shooter. And I think at the exact moment that the counter sniper team engaged, the would-be assassin pulled the trigger on his rifle. And as the counter sniper bullets impacted the shooter, he capped off a couple of other rounds which went into the crowd. All this happened simultaneously. But just the moment it happened, I just screamed to everybody in the crowd, "Get down, there's a sniper, everybody get down, get down, get down." And I had my wife, who was sitting just to my left, in the prone. And from there, it was just about trying to ascertain where the shooter was coming from. And Dom, it took me 2 seconds in the chaos of the moment. And by the way, I had my wife on one side of me and 95-year-old Mrs. Fogel, whose son has been languishing in a Russian prison for 3 years, completely ignored by the Biden administration, to my left. And I'm like, okay, building, right? The building or the water tower? That's where the sniper is. And the reason why that's really important, Dom, is because you got to be able to move people. And if you don't know where the shooter is, you don't know how, well, one, you don't know if you can move people. And 2, you don't know how to best use cover and concealment to get people out of there. And so it was chaos. And shortly after that, we learned that 2 people that were sitting just behind my wife and I had been shot, one in the abdomen and one in the head. And we just started evacuating casualties after that. And I was there with J.D. Longo and Rico Elmore probably until like 8:30, just evacuating some of the casualties, because there were gunshot injuries, Dom, but then there were also people who were suffering from heat injuries and like panic attacks, and it's a very traumatizing event for people. And what no one has really talked about is like there were wheelchair-bound people there too that weren't left behind, but you have 30,000 people going for one exit. You got people, elderly folks that are in wheelchairs being pushed by other elderly folks, and they were just sitting there.
Wow.
And so we wrangled up a couple of my veteran buddies who were there with me, got them cover and concealment, and we just rolled them out one by one, Tom, just trying to save as many people as we could.
Well, that's where I want to be. We had Alan West on the day and Sean Parnell. That's where I want to be surrounded by when something like that happens. So after you've had a chance now, and actually, I mean, it's you and your wife there at risk with bullets flying, The Secret Service situation here is one of the most irresponsible, it seems to be, that I've ever seen. And we've had people on, you probably feel that, how this guy could get that close. So what are you hearing now, and what do you want done?
Let me just tell you, I have been in hundreds of firefights in my life, hundreds, more times than I can count. I have never, and I've been in some pretty terrible situations with some pretty bad things happening. I have never, in all of my life, in 16 months of straight combat in Afghanistan, ever seen tactical negligence displayed on a scale like that, ever. That building was a 130-meter shot. Now, people are saying this guy's a terrible shot. Oh, well, yeah, it's a layup shot. But, the only reason that Trump survived, and it's so important for your listeners to understand this, the only reason that he survived that shot, because let's remind people, he got hit. He was hit in the ear. The only reason he survived is because he turned his head at the last moment. And Dom, he went off script. He's like, I'm going to go off the teleprompter. I hate these things. They're boring. Do you mind if I do that? Let's get my favorite immigration graphic up there.
Right, of all things.
Yes. So it's unbelievable to me that Trump's going off of script and his tendency to do that is ultimately what saved his life, because he turned his head at the exact moment that the first bullet was fired, and that saved his life. Never seen anything like that. But the Secret Service, how you don't have that building on lockdown is beyond me. Even if you don't have the people or the manpower, which, by the way, they did. But even if they didn't, how do you not obscure the line of sight? You had a piece of construction equipment. Just line up 5 or 6 of them. Or hang the big damn American flag right there. Excuse my language, but it's just...
Hey, Sean, you know what? We've heard thousands of people. It takes a guy like that is a great point. You improvise, and you make it near impossible to do anything like that.
Yes.
That's a great point, yeah.
I mean, it's like these campaigns, I've run 2 of them. You got more banners than you know what to do with. Hang up a couple banners, It's just like, and what really infuriates me, because I get very protective. These are the people of Pennsylvania. This is my home state. I'm a 5th-generation Pennsylvanian. Those are my people in Western Pennsylvania. The people who are wounded behind me, I met those people on the 2020 campaign. I shook their hands. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is the biggest city where everybody knows your name, and the United States Secret Service trying to blame local law enforcement? Don, let me ask you this. When have you ever known of the feds in any situation ever that would relinquish tactical control of a situation to a local unit? Not the FBI, an investigation, it never, ever happened,
even in
let
films.
alone when you're protecting a president.
Yeah, even in films, people like Tommy Lee Jones come in and all, and if the feds even back him away, sort of, you know what I mean?
The wire when they're all fighting.
Exactly, right. Because they are the feds, and they have resources. They do whatever the heck they want. Every film that you see, it's that case. Well, now you're not in the camp, Sean. I've been tamping it down. I see them. I can see it from the leadership on down how incompetent they are. But then this leads people to start talking conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say about that. And I am, just so your listeners know, I'm putting my military commander hat on, very much like Congressman Corey Mills.
Right.
If you're going to conduct a real investigation here, everything has to be on the table. Even things that you might think that are conspiratorial, right? I'm not saying that this was intentional, okay? But I'm saying that possibility has to be on the table, because if it's not on the table and we're not asking questions about it honestly, then how do you rule it out if you're not even allowed to question it? So I'm just saying, I don't think anything like that happened, but I think it's certainly, when you look at the totality of things, with all the things that, the Biden administration and certainly our intelligence communities, and if you don't believe me, listen to what Chuck Schumer said. If you go after the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. What do you think he meant by that? So, clearly, they've look at the rhetoric, how it was And for 10 years, it was like Trump is a traitor. He's a Russian asset. They created these hoaxes to fabricate intelligence that he was a Russian asset. And now the narrative is nonstop. Trump's a dictator. Trump's a dictator. Trump is Hitler. You turn on Morning Joe, MSNBC with Joe and Mika, and they're up every day. 275 years of the American experiment gone if Trump is elected. Like, how do you think some 20-year-old twisted, would-be assassin is going to process stuff like that? Yeah. And that rhetoric, and so there's a difference between. It's just like I'm not going to both sides of the issue. Like the Democrats and their allies and the media had a role to play in this. And it just infuriates me, as you can probably tell.
Well, no, you're exactly right. Look, there's a difference between hardball, going in after even stuff maybe you've been through campaigns you shouldn't say, and calling someone Hitler and not meaning it rhetorically, saying that's what's going to happen in the country. That's the big difference that has to be established. Dan had a question for you, Sean. Go right ahead.
Yeah,
Dan.
and Sean, feel free not to answer this question if you don't know. Right. But there's been a lot of, in conspiracy forums and such, a lot of retweets of witnesses saying that they heard shots from the water tower. And you being a combat veteran and being in these kind of situations, I'd assume that when you hear a shot and you feel it, buzz over your head, you kind of have the instinct that you're able to look at where that came from. There was rumors that the trajectory of the bullet looked like it came from the water, or one of the bullets came from the water tower. Just wondering if you're able to dispel that, because as a combat vet, knowing directional where bullets come from, did all the bullets come from that building that the shooter is posted up on?
Listen, I immediately was operating under the assumption that there were two shooters. Not because I had confirmation that there was two shooters indefinitely in the moment, but I will say I did identify a shooter on what I thought was 100% the building, but also identified the water tower as key terrain and the possibility that there might be somebody up there. And I'll tell you why. To the right of President Trump, as he was speaking, as you're looking at him on television speaking, I was to his left. But to the right of President Trump, there was a piece of construction equipment there and a hydraulic line on that piece of equipment severed and had all this smoke coming up from it. And it gave the impression that there might be a second shooter. And if you look at the actual tactics, techniques, and procedures of attacks like this, typically, you engage, so a would-be assassin would engage, 30-minute break, let people get complacent, start moving to the exits. You have all people bunched together, one exit, bunch of cars going to the same location, and then you re-engage after law enforcement has already moved out on whatever their secondary mission. So that was how I was operating the whole time, and that was my driving force of what I was telling people as I was trying to help evacuate people, was like, listen, we don't know. We don't know how many shooters there are. There could still be somebody out there. And behind President Trump, there were woods. And so what I kept trying to communicate to people is that if there was, and by the way, I am not saying that there was. I'm just saying in the moment, I was like, if there was, there's no possible way that the SWAT teams and police could have cleared those wood lines, which ran parallel to where everyone was parking. So I was like, move with a sense of purpose,
Exactly. Well,
so
Sean,
I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah,
but.
I think so. Sean, thank God you were there. And again, I did not know this. We want to promote, though, Battleground with Sean Parnell now on Rumble.
Oh, yeah. I got a live show every Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. on Rumble. It's been pretty fun.
Well, we'll check in on that. Sean, thank you. And great work on the mail-in balloting, too. That's we want to get an update after the convention on that.
Yep, thanks, my friend.
Thank you. Sean Parnell here on Talk Radio 1210. Dan, the other thing, too, look, all this other stuff's happening. They will 3 times what they had in 2020 is what he's predicting here. That's really good news. I know it feels like Biden's over, it's over, the whole thing and all. There's always more to come. So, all right, we're coming to your calls next on Talk Radio 1210.
Attention, if you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk premium. These are top-of-the-line appliances that dream kitchens are made of. If you're planning an investment like this in your home, where you buy is as important as what you buy. At National Appliance Warehouse, we're committed to delivering the superior buying experience you deserve. Our showroom features beautifully displayed premium appliances of every major brand, including highly sought-after Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove. Our team of gurus is well-versed at guiding you as you navigate the same appliances you'd find in the most magnificent homes and kitchens of cooking enthusiasts. And the National Appliance Warehouse team has the expertise to properly deliver and install your stunning new appliances.
Celebrate Christmas in July at National Appliance Warehouse. Purchase a qualifying Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliance package and choose 3 years of additional warranty or rebate up to $2,500. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit the showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's stand time
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
with Dom.
Yes, it's that time of the afternoon. Producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program, but gotta run quick. Hillbilly Elegy Dom, number 4, currently on Netflix Films. Pretty decent film directed by Ron Howard. I suggest you go check it out. But coming up a great hour, and I just got to compliment you, man. Great interview with Sean Parnell there. But Dan Time with Dom returns tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, I respect Parnell a lot. And Dan, I think he was surprised. One comment. I was going to get to all the Trump stuff, but my mind is not caught up in that. My mind's caught up in one thing. Winning. And the big headline there, in addition to the guy, military level, right inside that, is 3 times the mail-in balloting they're projecting they'll get this time from last time. You know what? That's the best news of the day. We'll take your calls next. A little bit later in the 2 o'clock hour, we'll talk with the former head of the Capitol Police. What does he say about FBI, Secret Service dealing with them here on the Dom Giordano Show?
Need to know. Depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Severe storms knocked down trees and power lines last night, and we're expecting more bad weather tonight. Donald Trump's VP J.D. Vance will be the headline speaker at today's Republican National Convention. And watch out for scammers posing as the Pennsylvania Turnpike texting you that you owe unpaid tolls.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
The good and bad with home improvement projects. The good, you save $1 or $2. The bad.
Kevin, there's no hot water.
So you move on to the car.
Kevin, what's with the car?
Good news, you can recover from these.
Kevin!
Well, most all of them. But when it comes to your retirement, a mistake can be devastating.
Call Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. He's been helping folks prepare for retirement for over 30 years. That's why he's able to correct your do-it-yourself problems before they're problems.
Get your complimentary assessment of where you are now and look at some of the retirement boxes you haven't even thought of.
Kevin!
You can't YouTube your retirement. Call Joe Yakovich at 856-925-6674 or visit jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Do you know your numbers? What numbers? Your heart health numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, and your body mass index. They're important, so ask your doctor. Learn your numbers, and if something doesn't seem right with them, see a Deborah specialist at one of our offices throughout South Jersey. After all, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. Find a specialist near you at demanddeborah.org.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering to qualified buyers a maximum discount of $13,176. This offer is good on all 2024 XC90s in stock. $13,176. Plus, the Cherry Hill Volvo 2024 model year sell down. Pricing and attention to detail here is not to be missed. Volvo should be on your shopping list now. This is the time to purchase from Cherry Hill Volvo.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navien's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. So President Biden, new poll out, devastating one on top of all the others. About 70% of self-described Democrats want him out. We're on that again. And the race is on. Will the DNC, which is filled with the establishment, actually have people do a nomination digitally? Void the convention. Yeah, Adam Schiff has just called for Biden to drop out. He's hinted at stuff before, but now a guy running for office, establishment figure calling for that. Here we go again.
You think Schiff wants it?
Oh, I'm not going to nominate him for president.
No?
He's not even a senator. He's running for the Senate. So, yeah. No, I don't think it's that. But we are going to see this ratchet up more. Apparently, there was a disturbing Zoom call he did with so-called moderates. I still think he sticks this out, although this is going to be at the level that it was prior to the shooting of President Trump. Again, if they go with Biden, he's going to lose. I know that, and you know that, as long as the Trump campaign continues to push all out. You just heard. That's the news to me. I know it's easy to get caught up in all the just shock over the Secret Service and what engaged here, whether or not they actually even had frontline. Dan, you said there was a report about most of them were temporary. I can't imagine the Secret Service has temps. That might be the wrong. I've said it was the B team there, whatever the backups are. I think they ought to admit they're stretched too thin. They need somebody more hard charging to be in charge of this and develop more high quality Secret Service agents. That's money well spent. But aside from that, this is beyond shocking what went on here. This is bordering on criminal negligence, the protocols and what they use that allow this. You heard that from some people today, and Sean Parnell just happened to be there. All right, so you have that going on. But the story today is Mike Johnson announces a task force will be set out on Monday. I know it would be distracting from the convention and all this, but this can't go on. That'll be well over a week since the shooting. This ought to be done now. And I asked at the beginning, and I know that people were pretty tepid. Dan was 80%. I was high 90s. Confidence I have in Jordan and Johnson to get to the bottom of this. And the question becomes accountability. Let me throw it out what I said to a couple of people. Accountability sometimes is not on the individual, like the head of the Secret Service. I mean, I want her out of there for obvious reasons. We're dealing with life and death. But accountability could also be this exposes what DEI does. It exposes what progressivism does. It exposes potentially what infiltrated here, seeing Trump as Hitler, and we're not going to provide the very best. We don't ratchet it up, even though he's the more obvious one that needs more protection, given what they knew about Iran and everything else. So what level of confidence do you have in Mike Johnson? Jim Jordan will be on it, I believe, and some others to get to the bottom of this. And we don't need months. You subpoena people to come in. They don't come in on a Tuesday. They come in when you want them in there. You work through the weekend. You testify 10, 12, 15 hours a day, whatever it takes. That's what we want to see. There's no higher priority than protecting Trump in this situation. Because we all know if the worst had happened on Saturday, can you imagine, and several people have alluded to it today, where we would be as far as how this would be playing out? Okay, so your level of confidence. Now, it's easy to say, well, I'm not confident in anything. They're not going to do anything. Okay. Noticing Democrats, though, have found where to go. I wanted to talk about this a little bit. You can't have a perfect VP candidate. People saying, well, go with Burgum. Nobody can be offended by him. He doesn't do, who's going to be. I see nothing in Burgum. I'll still go. I don't know what Trump was seeing, Dan. I know he might have brought more money. The energies are, and talking about that. You heard him in Wildwood, though. Man, this is bad, picturing Burgum as the VP. Rubio brings something, but I think there's not a trust level there with Trump. The two of them coalescing afterward would be very difficult. There would be, the difficult thing as a president is you want someone that's going to help you to win, but you want someone that you're going to be able to deal with other than just freezing them out. That's not a good thing to try to go down that path.
How much do you think the future played into this decision? Because
I don't think a lot.
You don't think so? Because
no.
Like, if you think of the next election, if Trump
Right.
were to say, hey, and maybe this is Trump Jr.'s argument, Vance, if he's elevated to president after, you got to step
Right.
aside, let's make the trade of Don Trump Jr. as the VP for Vance when Vance becomes president, and we make it cyclical. And, there's that. And is he the person that Trump Jr. trusts most to follow through on that promise?
Well, frankly, I hope that Trump doesn't, because I don't care right now about 2028. I'll admit it, Dan. It's one thing, and I think Trump's this way too. You know what he's thinking? How do I get over the finish line now? All that other stuff is great, but how do you get over the finish line now? And I guess Vance is appealing to him. He's a millionaire. He's very accomplished. He's got a great life story. And Don Trump Jr. really wanted this and really pushed for it. I don't know that he's thinking, in 2028, it'll be Trumpism.
But is the fact that the election's allegedly, going to be Trump regardless,
right?
Did that switch? Because there are rumors that Trump wanted Burgum, right?
He did.
And
Yeah,
Trump
they
Jr.
got convinced him.
wanted Vance. So you have the butting
Right.
heads there. Was Burgum the choice until this happened? And then Trump Jr. made the argument, look, Vance has this promise to me, and then we're going to go forward, and it's going to be a win no matter what. So why not get Vance in there now? I mean, this is all pontificating. I want to be clear,
Yeah,
but
I hear you. But
stuff that you might be able to hear coming up here when we have Trump Jr. live on stage.
That's what we're going to ask him. Among other things, we have like an hour and 15 minutes with him on July 30th. So we got a great venue, Scottish Rite, and there couldn't be more. God knows between now and then with Don Trump Jr., the things that will be in play. You'll get all that, and you'll get a copy of Letters to Trump, this big coffee table book that is fabulous. It's really well put together. If I had to say the premise of the book is Trump saying, look at how people treated me then before I ran for office. Oprah, Hillary Clinton, glowing letters back and forth, particularly with Oprah, personal relationship. What is it with these people that suddenly I'm Hitler? That's, that's exactly what's going on in this. We'll do all that. You get your tickets at 1210WPHT.com. That's where you go. So Johnson announces task force. What's your level of confidence? You can be clear on that. I mean, what is it that task force is going to be able to do and come up with? Problem as I see it, we're already wasting a week and days. Once you get farther away from this, then more conspiracy theories develop, more things are harder to pin down. Who do you want to talk with? Well, we want to talk with the head of the detail that day. I'm seeing more stories again, maybe bring some of these people in. It's hard to get inside the mind. We want to know about the phone. They should not be taking forever with releasing details on this. Every time you try to press these people on this, they'll tell you it's a matter of national security. We can't release details. The more they do that, the more conspiracies start to play out. That's what the issue is here. All right, so 855-839-1210. And Sean Parnell just gave you a great blow-by-blow, so to speak, account and how horrifying it was to realize they left that roof unprotected. Again, it's all in the Secret Service. They've acknowledged that originally, of course, they saw that as a problem. Then they went with a smaller perimeter. We've had experts on. Alan West saying that in a recruit in the Army, when he was a colonel, you expected to be able to fire and hit something at 300 yards. This is well within that. This is ludicrous how low we've sunk. And Saturday, Trump will be in Michigan with Vance. So it's going to be interesting to see, do they ratchet up and go with the very best in this task? And again, anybody with common sense would have to say we got to protect Trump maybe more than anybody other than the president, simply because we know what the threat level is. And if you care about the country, you have to realize what would happen if the worst happened there, the difficulties with that. All right, I mentioned one other thing. Michael Goodwin writing in the New York Post, Donald Trump and the GOP are shifting to a party for the working class. Not that they'll do it, but rather than the Republican Party, the GOP could become the Workers' Party. Not socialist, it's capitalist-based. Farewell to the Chamber of Commerce and good riddance to Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. Hello, restaurant workers, no taxes on tips. And get this, even big unions could be invited to the party. The change inevitably would lead to a much more diverse Republican Party as demonstrated by the numerous non-white speakers on Monday. The lineup wasn't a hint that Trump is chasing a progressive-like DEI agenda. The clear justification, they mentioned Amber Rose that we talked about. She hit it out of the park, and I thought she did too. Here is the Teamsters president, Sean O'Brien, his comments on J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance, the short time that we've worked together, I mean, he's been great on Teamster issues. He is co-sponsored an airline manufacturing bill that addresses outsourcing of critical airline maintenance to China. He's also supported paid sick leave for our railroad workers. If you remember that situation a couple of years ago where they weren't getting sick time, he stepped right up. He's also been very vocal and supportive of holding employers accountable who try and skirt their obligation under an independent contractor model known as DSP. So he's been right there on all our issues. We've publicly stated it. And look, at this day and age, there's nothing better than having a U.S. Marine represented as a vice president candidate.
All right, so this is the bond I was talking about with the Workers' Party. That's Sean O'Brien, the head of the Teamsters. He wanted to duke it out with the senator from Oklahoma who would have tuned him up.
This is a place.
Yeah.
If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
A
lot of
butts.
Is that your solution every poll?
No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Okay. Sit down.
This guy, Sean O'Brien's brave in that sense, but this other guy, the senator from Oklahoma, oh, my God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that would not have been good. So it came up because one of our great guys, Earl of Tacony, mentioned Amber Rose as an example. This guy, Matt Walsh, who, is on the side that you can call it purist, you can call it ridiculous or just wanting eyeballs, whatever, attacking. How could we bring Amber Rose up there as a speaker? All right. So my point is, we're not in her heart, in her mind. You trust that she has seen the light here. She's seen something different with Donald Trump. She talked about her father. She talked about her own research. Sometimes the right thing, giving her space to say that, and the politically right thing, she's an influencer, are both there. All right, and if they are, that's to our benefit. So now we're supposed to be rejecting all that. And it gets to J.D. Vance and Trump. I think people give Trump space to say, yeah, some of the stuff he's talking about in J.D. Vance are not pure capitalism, but we want to be somebody who is open to helping workers, particularly given what they're up against. And there might be times when populism is a blend. So you have the green eye shades of Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney. Do you want that, or do you want a new way for the Republican Party? Can they go over the line where they compromise too much? Sure. We went through this with the abortion issue. And in the beginning, there were a few people that would call me and say, no, you're wrong. You're compromising principle here. I think people are solidly on board now. That's why Democrats are going after Vance on abortion today, because his position is not exactly in sync with Trump. Trump will set the agenda on that. He'll follow, but his previous positions are not. They're more in line with Ron DeSantis. 855-839-1210. All right, we'll get to all that. Take your calls on it. What's your level of confidence with this task force now? And they got to act quickly. This cannot be weeks and weeks and weeks. Act quickly. What happened here specifically? And then if they won't move to fire the head of the Secret Service and or take other actions, then politically continue to go after them throughout the election. All right, but first, it's time for...
It's Dobbs Money Melody.
Money gone.
That's right. We're playing today for a pair of tickets to tour the Battleship, New Jersey. It's a great visit in Camden, New Jersey. For more information, visit battleshipnewjersey.org. Okay, Dan, what do you have?
Yeah, Dom, so born today on this day, this cover artist, but also a very well-respected country star, has his 48th birthday, and Dom, this guy allegedly looks like me. When we first started dating, Maisie said that she was apparently attracted to me because she likes this artist. So here is this artist celebrating a birthday today, covering one of my favorite bands, current bands, One Republic. Take a listen, Dom. Pretty good stuff. Who is the cover artist today?
I'm holding on your rope, got me 10 feet off the ground. I'm hearing what you say, but I just can't make a sound. You tell me that you need me, then you go and cut me down. But wait, you tell me that you're sorry, didn't think I'd turn around and say that it's true.
So Dom, this person also has a very strong television presence, I'll put out there. So today, Dom, we're looking for the cover artist celebrating a birthday today of this One Republic song to win passes to the new Battleship, New Jersey, Dom.
All right, get in right now. Here's how you do it. 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do, push pound 1210, jump in. You could be a winner today on Talk Radio 1210.
I loved you with a fire, and now it's turning blue.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I want to tell you about a huge Politics and Pints, really huge. I'm bringing to town on July 30th to the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood, New Jersey, Don Trump Jr. We'll talk the election, State of the Union, all the recent events, cash bar, soft drinks, wine, and the like. You don't want to be shut out on this one. Don Trump Jr. Go to 1210WPHT.com, 1210WPHT.com.
Bring on the summer heat with huge savings when you replace your old inefficient windows and doors with the great people at Guida Door and Window. Right now, Guida is offering their best discounts of the year with their big 40% off summer sales event on all expertly installed windows and doors. Have drafty windows you've been meaning to replace? Well, you receive 40% off each window you buy. That's right, 40% off all high-performance, energy-efficient triple-pane windows. In need of new doors? Well, Guida's got you covered there as well with 40% off all high-quality entry doors, patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. Plus, you can start your project with no money out of pocket and pay it off interest-free for up to 18 full months. Don't let these incredible savings pass you by. Go Guida right now so you can take advantage of these limited time savings. All prior sales excluded. Offer expires July 31st, so call Guida today. Schedule a free in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go. GUIDA.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
35% of crash deaths in Pennsylvania involve drivers under the influence. Drunk, high, buzzed, wasted. Whatever you are, don't become a statistic. Make a plan to get home safe. Designate a driver, ride share, or stay the night. Be safe, PA. Visit PennDOT.pa.gov/safety for more. Substance use disorder treatment is available. Call 1-800-662-HELP or find a treatment facility at treatmentatlas.org.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh, yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
All right, let's hear the clue today. Dom Giordano Show looking for the cover artist for this song.
But I'm afraid that it's too late to apologize. It's too late. I said it's too late to apologize. It's too late.
Okay, let's go to Beverly in Kintnersville, Pennsylvania, on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Beverly, afternoon. Who's covering the song?
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I think it's Luke Bryant.
All right, very nicely played. Right out of the box. Good job, Beverly. Enjoy the Battleship, New Jersey.
Yeah, Luke Bryan, one of the judges on American Idol, Dom, and apparently a doppelganger of yours truly.
Oh, boy, yeah, I've seen him. I don't quite see it, but I'll have to.
Neither do I, to be honest with you.
I'll have to take another closer look at it through the eyes of Maisie. All right. 855
Very kind of you, Dom.
855-839-1210. You get in. Side question today provided by this rumor that 50 Cent may personally be singing the walk-up song for President Trump, Many Men, for Trump's walk-up at the RNC on Thursday when he accepts the full nomination after the UFC guy gives the opening speech. So, side question, give us the walk-up music for Trump. We haven't got one for Don Jr. How about for J.D. Vance, who does that tonight? By the way, this is out in the rural area of Pennsylvania. You got to love this, from Catawassa. Yeah, Catawassa, Pennsylvania. In a unanimous vote, members of the Southern Columbia School Board accepted a motion to allow Superintendent James Becker to carry a firearm as an armed school security guard. The amendment adds an extra $300 a month to Becker's current salary to make up for the extra duties and responsibilities. Now, we told you last week when they did this budget deal that they agreed that with proper training and all that stuff, that school districts now would be mandated to have at least one cop, one security person in the schools. I don't think it has to be in every school. It could be rotating, whatever. This school district now, Dan, has the superintendent carrying a sidearm. Not even the principal. They're going with the superintendent of schools there. It doesn't say anything about a shotgun here, but I can see the school board meetings.
I was always super intimidated by the superintendent, and
yeah,
things just ramped up a little bit there.
According to the board vice president, other school employees may also take on similar roles in the future. Not able to confirm if any other school districts in the area are having a superintendent.
So is this in lieu of a school resource officer?
Well, there are others. He's the third one.
Okay.
The grant gives you X amount of money to put into play coming off the school budget thing.
So what I don't like about this, though, is what's stopping a super liberal superintendent from just going out, getting a gun license and saying, I'm going to check off one of those three because I don't want three people in my school district carrying, but I still want this money, so I'm going to hold it myself and not let anybody else have it.
Well, this is what school board elections are about. They'd have to approve that person as one of them, and if they do, they're asking for trouble. So it's going to be interesting to see how Lower Merion deals with this, for example. But in this case, it's pretty clear they're meaning business, and they're looking for more people to be armed in schools. My only objection is I don't know if the superintendent is in the schools enough, how that works, but I just thought pretty interesting response to it. All right, so Mike Johnson, the big story today, the speaker, going with a task force rather than all these different committees going after the Secret Service. They got to move, though. He ought to be naming it today. And Monday, 9 o'clock. Well, what's the matter with 8 o'clock on this? How about sending a message to the American public? We're holding hearings at 7 o'clock. Yeah, well, I don't want to show up at 7. You're subpoenaed. You'll be in jail by then if you don't. And lunch break, we're going to serve lunch at the desk. We can continue with questioning. This is going to be, are Democrats actually now going to circle the wagons around this Secret Service head? They might. And again, you talk about accountability.
So
well, the politics of this are not going to play well. It's not going to play well for them. I think we all know this has resulted in a bump for Trump, not just among Trump supporters, but others are saying, wow, look, this is amazing. This guy survived this. We can't be having this. How did this happen? Dan, you might want to roll for sound here. Kamala Harris is addressing in Kalamazoo the assassination attempt on Trump.
Violence is never acceptable.
We know all
There
that.
can be no equivocation.
We know all that. Let's hear what your statement is on it, though.
At the same time, the hallmark of American democracy, the hallmark of any democracy, is a strong competition of ideas, policies, and a vision for the future. And just as we must reject political violence, we must also embrace a robust discussion about what is at stake in this election.
Yeah, let's get to it.
The surest way to reaffirm the strength of our democracy is by engaging in a vigorous and civil exchange of ideas.
Where's that again?
And one of the ideas and one of the principles that is at stake in this election is the issue of reproductive freedom. And that is why I am here today.
Okay, well, let me jump in here. Okay, you know what, Dan? They're at least that she's blinking here on this. She wants to introduce reproductive freedom. Fine, let's continue to do that. I'm okay if she wants to continue saying in this atmosphere, there's nothing wrong with it, to say that President Trump and J.D. Vance are going to ban abortion nationwide. False, but that's within the bounds of a political campaign. The question we want to know is, though, are you going to continue to say the country's over? This is Hitler in the making. That's the only thing we want to know out of all this blather. That's the issue. Saying that Trump is Hitler. Bill Barr put it best, who's not a fan of Trump. We played this all this week, the former attorney general. In fact, they're antagonists now. That no, look at the first term. Where's the Hitler there? Where are you getting this from? They can say whatever they want about abortion. They can say what Vance is and an extremist and all. That's certainly within the frame of what you ought to be able to say, even despite this shooting. What is not is the Hitler talk.
And the bottom line, I think, is that when someone is demonized to the extent that Trump was being demonized, you're putting a target on them. And you're increasing the risk that they are going to become a target for someone who has a mixture of these factors, imbalance, some potential political element to it. They become the target. And what was concerning me was that, and I understand both sides, the people on both sides that engage in extreme rhetoric occasionally, but what was bothering me was that the thrust of the Democratic narrative for this election year had become that Truss was a mortal danger to our democracy. And if he wins, the country's going away. And when you take that position, that is an apocalyptic and hysterical position that's bound to lead to, violence eventually.
That's the point. We never can get to the point, never we see that question asked of Harris or Biden, specifically what Barr just said. All right, coming up, we're going to talk with the former head of the Capitol Police about dealing with the FBI, dealing with Secret Service, and his thoughts on what happened here. He was in power on January 6th, and he's had a lot to say about Nancy Pelosi and others. He's next here on Talk Radio 1210.
One more day of the excessive heat warning. It'll be partly sunny. Watch out for some late-day strong to severe storms with a high 96, but feeling like over 100 at times. For tonight, some showers and storms with a low 74. And for Thursday, partly sunny, becoming less humid, high 88.
Crash Proof Retirement records all financial meetings. All promises made in recorded financial meetings become legally binding between Crash Proof Retirement and the investing client. Crash Proof Retirement provides all of their clients with a certificate of authenticity, further documenting that recording financial meetings brings fiduciary responsibility to the highest level.
I'm Jack Gunning from Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. I don't know whether anybody can offer you the security that Crash Proof Retirement does. I have this certificate that tells me they're a fiduciary. Everything is recorded and they have your best interest at heart. That certificate is 100% documentation that you know what they're saying is 100% correct. Other companies don't have this guarantee. This certificate means an awful lot for me, and it should mean an awful lot for you.
Certify your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Downingtown Country Club, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Join Nick Kale and WPHT in supporting the Bend to the Shore Bike Tour on Sunday, July 21st. Ride 30 miles, 65 miles, or just make a donation to the cause. Visit bendtoshore.org. Sign up with the code NIC1210 to get $25 off the registration fee. That's shore.org. Promo code NIC1210. The Bend to Shore Bike Tour provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders and is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. Did you know we are having a full one-day event on August 17th? It's called the Money Hacks event. You want to come to this event and you will learn how to become your own bank, how to invest in real estate without any money. You will learn the stock market and you will learn how to build credit for cash flowing assets and so much more. It's a full day packed with information. Use the code 1210, that's 1210, to get a 50% discount on the ticket. Go to 4mmw.com, that's 4mmw.com, and register today.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, it is Dom time. Steven's son has become a friend of the show, I'd say. We've had him on multiple times, always insightful. And I think he has a lot to say about, even had lunch, apparently. He was telling Dan with friends who were in the business to the former chief of the Capitol Police. His book, Courage Under Fire, Under Siege and Outnumbered 58-1 on January 6th. When we've had him on before, he talked about intelligence failures, Pelosi and, resources around this. And we thought, I think Dan didn't bring him up, dealing with the FBI, dealing with the Secret Service, dealing with all these big governmental agencies. This guy was right in the center of it.
And there's nobody bigger than, from a local police standpoint in coordinating with the Secret Service.
Exactly.
Doing it on a daily basis.
Let's go to Chief Steven's son. Stephen, welcome back, Chief. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Dom. Thanks for having me on again.
So take us fly on the wall. You're with friends that were in various positions. You don't have to name, et cetera. And you guys having lunch and processing a little bit of this failure that we saw. And maybe you can tell us first, I guess, what you thought on Saturday when you saw this unfold and you got more details. What were you looking at?
Well, I'll tell you, and let me just give you a little bit of background for your listeners. When as your introduction had said, we work with Secret Service on a daily basis. I've been working with Secret Service since 1999. I started doing my first details, actually even earlier than that, in 1991. As a police officer, I did my first detail. Jimmy Carter was in town building buildings in the District of Columbia for Habitat for Humanity, and I started working with him at that point. So many decades of experience, but I've done hundreds of presidential details. When you watched it, just the fact that, what I was witnessing was, pure almost divine intervention when you look at how the president turned his head just right at the right time and was, grazed by what would have been an absolute lethal shot. It's absolutely stunned me. The president took absolutely great steps, immediately dropped down, which is a secure position for him, and the agents quickly jumped on him to get control of the situation. But you start looking at that, and as soon as anytime a protectee gets injured or specifically shot at, there's an issue that occurred. Because Secret Service, the way they build out a site detail, it takes a long time, it takes weeks to build that out. They have a very regimented procedure. They build it out to a certain level where they have everybody within that area screened, and then beyond that, they have spotters. They do regular checks to make sure no one's out there even farther, because you're dealing with handgun distance, then sniper distance, so you can go out several hundred yards. What surprised me is the quick analysis, and you started hearing the rooftop that the shot came from. It's the closest rooftop to the event, besides the roof right behind it with the Secret Service counter snipers on it that actually neutralize the threat. So, I quickly was watching that and thinking, there's just something that's just not right here. Somewhere somebody made a mistake, because that rooftop should have been being watched.
Well, how, though, in your experience, that vast experience, you did it day to day. I've only been at these events doing various things, Stephen, and it seems to me almost impossible that you would overlook this. And the excuse of the head of the Secret Service, well, it was a slope roof. We couldn't have people up there. That's because of injury factor. In your experience, does that seem anywhere? Isn't that the job of the Secret Service? They put themselves at risk to some degree all the time.
Oh, you put yourself at risk, and if you're concerned, and they've done this in the past, they'll put on harnesses,
yes.
and rope themselves up to areas. They're tactical officers. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I want to try and keep this as clean a show as I can. That is ridiculous. And there's two reasons why I say that. One, if you do deal with a position that creates such a concern, but you still have to keep eyes on it. I've heard people talk about flying a drone. Why don't you just look around the fairgrounds, grab one of those, United rental lift trucks, and put a team up on a lift truck next to it watching the roof, if that's the case. But the number one reason why I don't think that's the case is look at the roof the Secret Service counter snipers that neutralize the threat are on. It has more of a slope than the our international. So no, that absolutely does not hold water. And the thing is, when they go and they do a site detail and they do an analysis of the site, they'll come out and they'll come up with areas of responsibility. So you're going to have an agent that has an area of responsibility, even though it's maybe outside the perimeter, that's supposed to be in charge of making sure all the state and locals, because the Secret Service can't do it all on their own. And this is one of the things that I think is really sad, that them blaming it on the state and locals for not covering it. It's a Secret Service site. It's a Secret Service detail. It's ultimately their responsibility. But they should have had a special agent out there checking the posts, making sure all the posts are being covered. And if that post wasn't being covered, then what are they going to do to mitigate that threat? Are they going to cover it, block it with something? But
Stop right there. You and Sean Parnell, who's been in combat, you may know of him, fabulous warrior, ran for office and all that. He was there and shot at. He said the same thing, Stephen. What you do is you improvise and you block line of sight there, that it's almost impossible to be able to fire from there.
Yeah, block line of sight, or just put somebody in an elevated position that they can watch the roof. That's just ridiculous, and it's just sad that the director's saying it's state and locals' responsibility, and the fact that they're inside the building at the time. It's just a terrible mistake.
Now, you've seen this. You've seen massive things, when you've been on talking about January 6th. It just seems almost impossible when your daily mission is to protect the life. Here's something I wanted to ask you. They may have been stretched. The First Lady was over in Pittsburgh. They have that commitment. They're at the convention. We get it. But you've had to make decisions like this. By the book, Trump is not in office. He's only a nominee in their lines. The First Lady is in office, so to speak. But Trump is the much bigger threat risk based upon what we know and what we intuit, that he's getting this all the time versus the First Lady. Don't you take that into account if you need more resources?
Absolutely. Your details should be threat based.
Yes.
it will have a standard detail package for former presidents, former vice presidents, things like that. But this detail should be threat-based. I know they're now coming out talking about this Iranian threat. I think that threat's been around for a couple of years if you go back and do a little research into it. So that's not something that's new. But it definitely should have been threat-based. But, you bring up a good point, and that you're actually the first person that I've heard that mentioned being stretched thin, especially with the RNC taking place. They would have had some advances out there. But that's where you go and you start relying on who are some of your other, first your federal partners, HSI, Homeland Security investigations. You'll bring in some of them, and I think some of those were on the detail. And then you're going to turn to your state and locals. They may not be people that do protection every day, but they're at least going to know how to listen to your directions that, hey, this is an area. We don't want to make sure nobody with a gun gets up on that roof, gets in here. They're going to understand the mission. So that's why when you start getting thin, when you're stretched thin and you're relying on state and locals, as long as you make sure they're in post and doing their job, you should be fine.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. So given what you've been through and given, what happened to you, what do you think should be done here ultimately with the task force going to start on Monday? What would be the outcome you need to see?
When you say the outcome, I need to see, and I'll tell you, I've worked closely with the Secret Service. Love the men and women of the agency. They love the agency. They're one of the few agencies that have not lost their legacy. They understand where they come from. They just need to find out why they're getting distracted the way they are. So I would say this, and it's interesting. I've had a couple people asking that question. How do you feel about what's going on? The big difference here is I'd asked for assistance. It's in multiple congressional reports. It's been found out they actually changed the law that impacted me. I asked twice in advance of January 6th for assistance, 11 times while we were under attack on January 6th and was denied repeatedly and forced to resign the very next day. I think what needs to be done is, as quick as they can, do a good investigation. Perhaps it's up to her what she wants to do, but by having her on, actually, to be honest with you, I think they actually have more ability to control her and mandate, that she answers more questions. So there may be one of the reasons she hasn't resigned, and that may be to their benefit. But I think you have the IG now at the Secret Service has indicated they're going to do a full investigation. The Secret Service, the way they do their details, they leave a significant amount of paper trail, everything from their counter snipers, surveys to the post. Everybody's responsibility. So they'll be able to go back and look at that very clearly to find out whose area of responsibility that was. I guarantee you it's going to turn out to be somebody's, and somebody didn't make sure it was covered. So I think, they need to look at it as quick as possible. I know the House of Representatives has also indicated they're doing a full investigation. I think she's supposed to be down, even though now I hear that Mayorkas may prevent her from testifying. We'll see, but she's supposed to testify, I think, next Monday.
Wait. Let's, if that happens and I don't want to draw you into politics, just for listeners, though, Stephen. I mean, I don't like Republicans waiting on this till next week. We're hearing, you can imagine, you've been through all this more than anybody I can possibly bring on. Parting question for you, we may have asked before, but to refresh. You have to feel vindicated publicly. I mean, we know, based upon your writing and what you've said, exactly what happened here. When that spokesperson for the National Guard talked about it, it's unraveling the blame that was placed on you and others. But why would they not oblige your request?
Why would they not oblige my request for resources?
Yes.
So when you go back and look at it, it all comes down to an optics. When I went to the two sergeant arms requesting the National Guard on January 3rd, and I went twice, I was denied specifically because of the concern for optics. And it goes back to the fact that the Speaker of the House did not want to see National Guard troops up on Capitol grounds. And that's all I wanted, unarmed National Guard troops to help maintain the perimeter of the U.S. Capitol alongside my officers.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. So, I think if it comes out that the head of the Secret Service did not ask and say, we need more here, whatever the request is for manpower, that to me is unforgivable. I mean, particularly with this protectee, Stephen, we all know the consequence if the worst had happened with President Trump or any former president in this situation. you have to say, we need to do more. There's no sin in saying you're under-resourced. The sin is, though, if you don't say it.
Right. Now, I think you'll find, I'd be very surprised if over time there's not some people that come out and begin to support the fact that there's a number of people that have said they were asking for additional resources, and I get the impression that there's going to be some validity to that.
Chief, thank you very much. As always, courage under fire, under siege, outnumbered 58-1 on January 6th. Thanks for your service, and in this role, thanks for what you provide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dom. Take care.
What a great guy, Dan. Thank you for recommending that. That's pretty unique. We're proud of that. We have a relationship with him, and he was able to tell you insight into this. And he didn't go overboard saying anything, but if they need more because they were overburdened that day, that's what you have to do. All right, coming up, it is the lightning round. What will happen tomorrow night? Walk-up music for President Trump, Don Jr., or J.D. Vance. We haven't gotten any Vance yet. Hit us with your best shot. That's straight ahead. Talk Radio 1210.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
How did your son or daughter do in school this year? These summer months is the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown at 800-300-0003. Prepare your student for back to school now. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2-to-1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders like high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Help your students start strong. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today at 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
Hey, daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
There's nothing quite like local. Local is your weekly farmer's market or homemade strawberry ice cream. It's live music on the corner, yoga in the park, and a chance to try something new. That's why AARP is local, right here in our community, offering free events and enriching experiences that can help with finances, family, and fun. Join AARP Philadelphia on July 25th for a virtual tour of the Renoir and Women exhibit at the Barnes Foundation. Learn more at aarp.org/local.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee, if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
That's right. Hit us with that walk-up music. Dom Giordano Show, Robert and Ben Salem. All right, Robert, what's yours?
I think that I'm going to keep it short, and I'm going to go with I'm Still Standing. But I have a feeling that Elton John will probably sue somebody over it. I have a lot, but I'll save it for tomorrow. You guys have a great day.
Yeah,
awesome.
We'll get you tomorrow. Thank you, Robert. Joe in Exton. All right, the heavy hitters are here. Joe, what's yours?
Joe.
Yes, hello, Dom, and good afternoon. Trump's walk-up music ought to be Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon. Trump's path to the presidency is his path to the stratosphere, where he and Melania become the brightest stars in the galaxy.
Thank you, Joe.
And hit the post, too. And hit the post, man. This guy is great.
He's unbelievable. Bill in Bucks. All right, Bill, what's yours?
Yeah, I'm going to give you that. I just wanted to tell you that Bucks County went red yesterday afternoon.
It did. Wait a minute. Tell us how. How do you know? You know
it
that?
Did.
What's the
I
score
know
now?
for a fact. I just visited the old courthouse in Doylestown to prove it, and I've got the numbers, and I got it directly from them. I was tipped off last night that this was happening, but I wanted to confirm it with the Board of Elections, so I went there and got a copy.
Wow. And what's the number, Bill?
Here's the number. Democrat, 197,815. Republican, 197,894. A difference of 79 registered voters. And so they're all Republican by 79 right now.
Wow.
So that's the official.
All right,
congratulations,
Bill.
Scott Presler.
And thank you for being the scorekeeper. What's yours,
thank you,
Bill?
Bill, for continuing.
Yeah, so that's the official thing. I just wanted to make sure.
What's your answer, Bill?
We are the champions, Freddie Murphy.
Gotcha. Leslie, got to get her in here for a lot of reasons. Leslie, got about 30 seconds. What's yours?
Okay, it is echoing Madeleine Brame, her speech last night, talking about corrupt DAs and that we're all sick and tired of being sick and tired. And the first line of this song is, "You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round," and it's "Rise Up" by Andra Day.
All right. Thank you, Leslie. Dan, you got to give me a couple of choices here very quickly.
I'm really leaning towards Joe and Exton because I think that's a perfect example of what we love from callers, that real great reasoning behind his call.
Okay.
But also online, I'm Still Standing on Twitter was the emergent winner, and that was Robert in Ben Salem. So either Joe or Robert.
Joe. Let's go with Joe today. Don't forget, get your tickets. Go to 1210WPHT.com. Don Trump Jr. will see tonight. Rich Cioli next. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Philadelphia? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Philadelphia for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text INVEST to 64,000. Philadelphia is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Philadelphia and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text INVEST to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text INVEST to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text INVEST to 64,000.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Severe storms knocked down trees and power lines last night, and we're expecting more bad weather tonight. Donald Trump's VP J.D. Vance will be the headline speaker at today's Republican National Convention. And watch out for scammers posing as the Pennsylvania Turnpike texting you that you owe unpaid tolls.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.